Coming to you live from the Georgia International Convention Center here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to your coverage of the 2025 USA Powerlifting Raw National Championships, Day 2, Primetime. My name is Nick Stevens, and I'm joined by my co-host, Kevin Serrano, current Category 2 national level referee, newly minted as of yesterday. And Kevin, we've had a bit of a menagerie of performances today we've seen from across a few different weight classes. But for our primetime session today, we're only going to be seeing 2 weight classes for both our men and our women. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So earlier today we had 2 sessions of lifting. Session 1 included a lot of our women lifters. They included the 65 kilo and the 70 kilo women's weight classes. And today, in the session 2 portion of our session today, we had the 82.5 kilo lifter men and our 90 kilo lifter men. So today we will be featuring both of those weight classes in the men and women's division. And we have our primetime lifters, so lifters who have achieved a high qualifying total via DOTS or other selection criteria set out by USA Powerlifting. And they will be competing in this final session, and we will crown the champion for all of those respective weight classes tonight.
That's right. And before we get into the action on the platform here today, let's just go ahead and talk about some of the things that we're going to be looking for as we go through our competition today. We've got a few different storylines that we're seeing play out that we can see across the night. So the first one that we want to talk about here is the meteoric rise of Christiane Hazard, product of PRS Performance, Steve Denovi here. And what we are looking at here, Christiane Hazard, I mean, she's really looking for some hazard pay, if you can really put it into those kind of words. She has competed in almost every national championship over the past 5 years, including the Pro Series, the Arnold, that sort of thing. She's cashed out almost $15,000 in prize money from all those competitions, but has yet to win a national championship herself. And if we know anything about Christiane Hazard, we know that that subtotal is going to be the name of the game for her. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I mean, it really goes to show how much USA Powerlifting itself as a federation has stepped up in paying their pros, right? And not only that, but the opportunity that it opened up for a lot of these lifters to continue competing at a high frequency and just showing up and posting up the high totals. Again, because not only does it prove a challenge to compete at such a high frequency year after year, but also be able to have those very high performances. I mean, we saw Christiane Hazard compete just earlier this year at the Arnold.
That's
we
right.
were both there commentating her. So it was really a true testament to just how she's able to just come back meet after meet and have those huge performances.
That's right. In her last 2 national championships, she did place second. And so with this storyline today, we're hoping that we'll be able to see her in that top spot. But we do have Evie Yambez, returning primetime competitor. She does have one of the top 30 dots of all time across all women. And so she's going to be looking to put up a fight there in the 65 kilo weight class. And then moving on to our 70 kilo weight class, this is really just a battle of the subtotals here. I mean, you've got Carmen who unfortunately coming off of last year's national championship had a bit of a rough go with that subtotal, didn't really get to show her true potential there. And so with this competition today, we're hoping that if she's able to put together all the pieces of that subtotal, we'll be able to see her put up a fight against some of our stronger lifters that are going to be coming up out of the woodwork here. I mean, we're looking at Jen Thompson. I mean, you can tell the world all about Jen Thompson. She's been at pretty much every national championship over the past 10, 12, 15 years, a perennial champion, ex-world champion, bench press extraordinaire. What are some of the things you're going to be looking out for Miss Jen Thompson coming in today?
I mean, other than the bench press, right, which is always extraordinary, she breaks a record every single time we see her bench press.
That's right.
But also being able to just see how she's able to just continue to go against all this rising talent. I mean, she is a master's lifter, so she is battling against these younger lifters who can progress at a higher frequency, at a higher rate than Jen Thompson, but she is really just a testament to longevity, but also the experience on the platform. That always never can be undermined when you go in these competitions. She has such a great level of experience stepping onto this platform. We see a camera feed of these athletes warming up, and she has been there, done that, and knows how primetime goes down.
Absolutely. Moving on to our men's competition. Starting off first, I mean, we're looking at the men's 82.5 kilo weight class. And if you're looking at the tail of the tape, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I'm going to give you the lowdown right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jaden Lowe's competition to win. He is our returning bronze medalist in the raw 82.5 kilo weight class, and he will be looking to repeat that for this year's competition. And then moving on to looking at the rest of our 90 kilo weight class. You know, our 90 kilo weight class, all of these lifters, this is their first nationals. This is their first primetime. This is their first real opportunity to see what a national stage looks like, what this level of competition at this level of production looks like. And so Kevin and I were doing research all throughout this session today, or prior to this session. And I mean, this is really just a mixed bag here. I mean, there's such unpredictability here with the 70 kilo weight class, or sorry, with the 90 kilo weight class. I mean, at first glance here, we have Mr. Kevin Sanukin, double-time state champ coming out of Georgia, looking to repeat that on the national stage. If he's able to put the pieces together of his subtotal, that will be a W for him. However, we do have a ton of young lifters still in the 90 kilo weight class. Kevin Cherry, Joel Chong, some massive pullers, some young lifters who definitely still have some time left in their careers to be able to mature on the national stage.
Yeah, and you said it yourself, right? The unpredictability of this session really is going to make this 90 kilo men's class really exciting, since we don't know how far these lifters have progressed since their last competitions, and just being able to just add kilos to the total, which will create a really remarkable story if we see these totals shake up differently than what we see them here on the forecasted placings.
Absolutely, and we hope with that little rundown of our action, we hope to give you some sort of a tail of the tape as we go into this competition today. But before we get going here, we're going to run through a few of our sponsors. We want to give a quick shout out to all of the groups that have helped make this competition possible. Obviously, we can't mention USA Powerlifting without mentioning A7. The brands are synonymous with each other. A7, Demand Greatness, our primary presenting sponsor for this weekend. They've got a table up in the back. We love A7. They've been our primary sponsor for years. They're providing all of the meat kits for our spotters and loaders on the platform tonight. We also want to give a quick shout out to Pioneer Strength Systems, phenomenal belts, phenomenal weightlifting equipment for powerlifting, some of the best leathercraft in the world. Look no further than Pioneer. You also want to check out Basement Barbell, owned by Brandon Campbell. He's an athlete and educator within the USAPL. You want to talk about anything home gym, you want to talk about finding the right equipment, finding the right spacing, he is your guy. So if you have any questions looking at that, go ahead and check out Basement Barbell. In addition to that, we also have Sour Strips. I mean, if you know Max Tuning, Sour Strips is one of the best candies on the market. We also want to give a quick shout out to Element, TSS, Texas Strength Systems. They're the ones providing our platform equipment, as well as the rack, the bench, the barbell, the plates, all that sort of stuff, as well as the warm-up equipment in the back here. And last but not least, we definitely want to give a shout out to Josh Rohr of Team Rohr over in Georgia as one of our primary sponsors with the USA Powerlifting, especially the National Championship. He's been a national level referee, coach educator within the USAPL, and he's definitely been an active contributor across all levels of powerlifting and produce some of the best products that we've seen, especially coming out of Georgia. And we're very grateful to have his help here this weekend in terms of sponsoring this meet. And then, we do have some other sponsors as well. We want to give a quick shout out to Rep Max. These are USAPL approved knee sleeves, wrist straps. And so if you guys want to check out any of that newer competition, if you're looking for some competition-ready equipment to set yourself for a solid performance on the stage, go ahead and look no further than Rep Max. And if you guys are following along with the action on the screen here, you all are seeing the Pirate of Powerlifting, Gino Biancheri, giving a quick introduction to all of our referees that are going to be providing the action or providing our officiating on the platform today. And, as a freshly minted Category 2 national referee, Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about what this experience might look like for our referees?
Absolutely. In order to be here on the platform, on the national stage, and here especially on the Primetime platform, the years and level of experience required to be at this level and officiating to this degree is truly astounding. I mean, these referees give time in and time out of their day, right, to be here and provide the highest level of officiating available here at USA Powerlifting. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, right? So when these lifters come out to the platform and they hit their lifts, they truly earn their lifts, right? There will be no gifts here today, and every single attempt will have to be worked for. From the opener to the last deadlift, we will see the highest level of officiating, and we are seeing the introductions here now. These are our referees for this session.
Absolutely, and like you were just saying, all of our referees here do have experience, multiple years of experience, some even multiple decades of experience on the national level stage, on the world stage. And so, ladies and gentlemen, for the folks at home, we are truly seeing the highest echelon of officiating here for today's primetime competition. I mean, we've got Paulie Steineman, Jack Marcus, BJ Foss, Nicole Thompson, and Ashley Hanna, a ton of very well-experienced, very well-known referees, and we're very excited to see their calls, and we're excited to see how they're going to navigate the competition this evening. We see a little bit of initial leaderboard for all of our men's competition today. So this is for both the men's 82.5 kilo weight class and the 90 kilo weight class. Coming in off of nominated total, I mean, like we said, Jaden Lowe, he's going to give him the lowdown. You know, he is going to be the one to beat tonight with an 845.5 total. Now, we do have Mr. Michael Miller right behind. Now, if Michael Miller is able to recreate the phenomenal performance he had in his last meet, unfortunately it was in another federation, so he was not able to use that total to nominate himself for this meet. But should he recreate that total, he is going to put up a fight against Jaden Lowe, and so we're going to be very intrigued to see how that plays out throughout the rest of the night. Following along with the rest of our competition, we've got Kyle Dawson as well. Kyle Dawson coming up, returning primetime competitor as well, placed 8th in last year's competition, and so looking to find himself a podium spot in this evening's competition. Just a reminder for our viewers at home, all of our lifters for the primetime competition today had to qualify via what's called a DOT score. DOT score for the folks at home is just a composite score that we're able to use to what's the word I'm looking for? Equify all of our lifters across age, weight class, gender. And folks, if you're watching on the screen, it looks like it's high time for me to quit yapping and let's get to the action on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, it is prime time. Coming up first, we have Miss Jennifer Thompson. She is going to be taking her opening squat at 325 pounds, 147.5 kilos. Jen Thompson, like we were talking about earlier, multiple-time returning competitor on the national stage, multiple-time primetime competitor, multiple-time national champion.
And if any of you watching at home, go to liftingcast.com, scroll to 2025 USA Powerlifting Raw Nationals Day 2, and you'll keep up with the action and view the leaderboard standings as we see them here on the stream.
That's right. Here's Miss Jennifer Thompson, product of Lake Norman, North Carolina. A math teacher in her daytime. And that's a good lift there from Miss Jennifer Thompson, starting us off right. Coming up right behind is Miss Charlsie Eith. Now, Charlsie Eith, she's going to be coming into this competition a little bit of a dark horse as well. In her last few competitions, she didn't have the greatest placings. She did place 15th and 17th at both of her prior national championship appearances. And so, and not only that, but she did have a year in between her first competition, or her last competition, and tonight's performance. So we're looking to see a very strong opening performance here for Charlsie Eith. Let's see if she can put a few people on notice here. Charlsie Eith, this is 160 kilos, 352 pounds, moved as easily as an opener should, ladies and gentlemen.
And Charlise is nominated with a 170 kilo squat. This is what she had best came with her nominated total, but based off of that 160 opener, that 170 will not stand for long.
Coming up next is Miss Amanda Lacasse. Now, Miss Amanda, one of our commentators earlier yesterday during our daytime sessions. Not only that, she's a coach, a referee, and truly someone that does the business of powerlifting. You know, there's a lot of hats that folks can very easily wear in this sport. You know, referee, coach, volunteer, spotter, loader, athlete. And the more you're able to immerse yourself in this sport, the more you're able to appreciate all the hard work that goes into creating a production like this possible. Amanda Lacasse, very smooth opening attempt there, and that looks like it's going to be a good lift, 2-to-1 from our referees. And now when we say 2-to-1 good lift for our folks at home, what are we talking about in terms of what our referees are going to be calling for our lifters?
In powerlifting, majority rules. So if two referees, that's why we have 3 referees on the platform, if 2 referees believe the lift was good and they provide a white light, that means that lift is good. If 2 of the 3 referees give a...
Can't get much simpler than that.
a red light for any of the possible infractions, which we will go over later on. Most commonly here on the squat is depth, which what the referees are looking for, specifically the side referees, is for the hip crease of the lifter to go below the top surface of the knee. That is what depth means. And let's look here at Amanda, see how she squats.
And this is actually Marissa here, taking her opening at 162.5. It looks like that's going to be a good lift for her as well. That was 100. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it looks like we got a little bit of a lifting cast delay there on the screen there. So we see one of our handlers there just making sure the weight is correct there for our upcoming lifter.
And again, just double checking that the appropriate load is on the bar. Big thanks to our spotters and loaders who have been working tirelessly all 3 sessions from multiple teams, making sure that these lifters are staying safe and are protected throughout the entirety of the session.
Absolutely, and when you talk about the pace of the meet, the speed, the intensity of the meet, it really does come down to how well those spotters and loaders are clearing the bar and getting it ready for our next lifter. Here is Miss Hannah Jenny, 363 pounds, 165 kilos. Miss Hannah Jenny, product of New York. Her last competition was earlier this year in New York State Primetime. Looking to solidify her place at the top of the echelon here. And that is going to be a good lift, 3 white lights.
And again, these openers are going to be a telling signal for how their day is going to go, right? They're trying to set themselves up, get it on the board, and then take very calculated attempts into the third and final squat, right? You don't want to open too heavy and risk not having enough left in the tank because you still have 2 more squats after this.
Here's Marissa, Sincere Training Systems product. And that is going to be a no lift, unfortunately, there for Marissa on that opening attempt. And we're getting some insight from the judges here that depth was not necessarily satisfied there. Can you talk a little bit about what depth is? And, you know, for the folks at home, if they see a squat and they stand it up, that's a good lift. Why is it not a good lift for our referees?
Again, one of the bases of rules of performance our referees look for is depth, right? We previously went over saying that it is hip crease below the top surface of the knee. And again, it's one of those adjustments that can be easily done from one lift to the next. Here in Anna, right, she gets the rack command, completes the lift, gets it up, but now let's see what the referees say. And here we hear Gino saying the lift is good, meaning that all 3 referees believe that she did squat low enough. Carmen Hu is up next.
Now, Carmen Hu, this is a lifter I'm very, very excited to see here. Like we were talking about earlier, Carmen Hu, product of White Toe Lifting Co. Shout out Yuli Muyaj. Carmen Hu's coming out with a little bit of a chip on her shoulder going into this competition. Last year, only going 5 for 9, unfortunately missing 2 squats and 2 benches. And like we were talking about here, this competition in the 70 kilo class is going to be a battle of the subtotals here. And so it's going to be really important for Carmen to be able to execute to her fullest extent in order to fend off Jen Thompson. And this is 380 pounds for Miss Carmen Hu. And ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder for all of you at home, if you want to follow along live for all of the attempt updates that we are seeing, any overturns, indecisions, anything like that, go ahead and check out www.liftingcast.com/meets. Go ahead and scroll down to USA Powerlifting Raw National Championships Day 1. Go to Platform 1, or sorry, Day 2, excuse me, and then go to Platform 1, and you'll be able to follow along with all of the live attempt changes that we are seeing on the screen with you all today. That was a good opener there for Carmen Hu, so setting off the competition well, but then we've also got Miss Evie Yambez. Very, very heavy squat for Evie. This is 391 pounds. Again, another one of our lifters that's been on the national stage multiple times, been on the Primetime stage multiple times. Masters 1 lifter as well, one of our older lifters of the competition, along with Miss Jen Thompson. Easy peasy, Miss Evie. 3 white lights there, 177.5. And here she is, folks, Miss Christiane Hazard. Opening squat with 396 pounds. Your current American record squat holder, your current Arnold national champion, looking to create her first gold medal appearance at today's Primetime Championship. Christiane Hazard, a product of PRS Performance.
And based off of that opener, look at that bar speed.
We are going to have a fight on our hands.
Hazard is ready to play.
My goodness. I mean, that as much of an easy opener squat as you'd expect from the returning American record holder.
And again, she can start getting into those conversations of one of the best powerlifters we have seen step on this platform, right?
Absolutely.
She is almost creating a legacy for herself here based off how many times she's competed at these high-level pro, Arnold, and national meets, right?
Absolutely.
If she's able to pull off this win, that'll really make a statement for everyone around.
That'll show the world that she's not, that she's more than the money she makes. She is your national champion. And now here's Miss Madison Lewis, our last squatter of the day before we go into our second attempts. 195 kilos, 429 pounds. Madison Lewis, steady walk out here. Now, Miss Madison Lewis, moving up from a weight class from the 67.5 kilo weight class to the 70 kilo weight class. Very easy opener squat there. And that is a good lift for Miss Madison Lewis.
We are now moving right along into our second attempt squats. So these are getting a little heavier, right? We're going to start seeing a little bit of fight from some of these lifters. And again, it's starting to dive into the strategy that these lifters are taking, right? What type of jumps that they're making. And here up next, we got Jennifer Thompson.
The legend, the veteran. You know her, you love her. The woman, the myth, the legend, Jennifer Thompson.
No introduction.
347 pounds for the Masters 2 lifter. And now Jen Thompson, we've been watching her compete for a few years. And what a grind that was, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, bit of a limit lip there, but for the second attempt, it moved well, and she gets a good lift.
And that's something that we've seen kind of frequently from Jen. Once she gets to that higher intensity, once she gets to her true max on squat, it does move significantly slower than her prior attempts. And so I wonder if she'll put in a third attempt. I wonder if she'll probably scratch that and save some strength for her bread and butter, the bench press. Coming up next, Miss Marissa going to take 167.5 kilos. Very slow on the descent there. Very clean. 2-to-1, that's going to be a good lift for Marissa. She's able to find that depth and puts herself on the board for tonight's competition. Coming up right behind, Miss Charlesy Eith, representing Bergen Barbell. Like we said, this is her first primetime appearance.
Again, she did take a 7.5 kilo jump, and she is one of the lifters, which you can argue is from the outside looking in when it comes to the podium standings, but she is a phenomenal contender for this championship. I mean, all these lifters are here for a reason, and let's see how Charlie's handles 167.5.
That's right, and a very stable jump there, 7.5 kilos. That's about 15 pounds for the folks at home, and so you can expect that to kind of move about the same as that opener did. If you compare that second attempt squat to her opener, it definitely moved just about the same speed. And so we can imagine probably a similar jump to that third attempt, maybe even a smaller jump, 2.5 kilos, 5 kilos. And it just goes to show the intricacies of the numbers that you're going to be putting on the board, the gamesmanship that happens when you have these lifters that are so close together on total. Miss Heather Brinkley, another one of our lifters, 7.5 kilo jump up to 380 pounds, representing absolute strength and performance. And Heather is in the Air Force. We thank her for her service. And this is her second appearance here at Raw Nationals, first on the primetime stage.
Looks plenty deep there.
Absolutely. Looks like she's being handled in the corner there by Carly Skarapinski of Mustache Fitness. And that's a good lift there for Heather. Miss Amanda Lacasse is making her way up to the platform now. Another, like we said, one of our lifters who does the business of powerlifting, truly does it all. And this is her fourth weight class in competition. She's competed across 4 different weight classes, Amanda has. And it looks like we found the right recipe to put her on the primetime stage here in the 70 kilo weight class. Smooth second attempt, just as her opener was. And unfortunately, that will be a no lift from our judges. Our referees did not see that depth was adequately met in terms of Amanda's squat there. Let's go ahead and check a replay. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit there. And for the folks at home, when you're looking at a squat like that, you want to see that hip crease be below the top surface of the knee. And if that isn't met, then that's simply just going to be a red light. Our lifters have to get deeper.
And again, and now that's a conversation you have to have with your coach in the back room, right?
Absolutely.
When you're thinking about what you're going to put in for your third attempt squat. Is it going to be a retake, right? Can the lifter convince the coach, hey, I can go deeper, right? So load up a planned third attempt, or is it going to be, hey, that was a bit of a difficult lift, let's retake that and nail it on the third? Absolutely.
Miss Hannah Jenny going up 10 kilos from 162.5 to 172.5. Ooh. Okay, she's able to find her way up. Kevin, talk to me a little bit about what you saw there on the screen. I can't imagine there's much more in the tank there for Hannah.
I mean, yeah, that's one of the things where, I mean, similar to what we just saw with Jen Thompson, right? It looked to be a limit lift. Not much left in the tank there, and truly it would be shocking if we see her come back on the third. But, I mean, that's so much better than having to miss a lift and retaking it or expending energy and not have that lift go in your favor. She hit depth, got that good lift, and will be walking away with 175 kilos to her squat.
Absolutely, and it looks like We're still waiting on the input from Lifting Cast there, but I can't imagine there's much more left in the tank. She really sold her soul on that squat there. Carmen Hu, White Toe Lifting Co. product.
She's now breaking into the 400-pound range, 402 pounds specifically loaded here for her.
Now that's a national champion squat if I've ever seen one, ladies and gentlemen. And that's going to be a 2-to-1 call on depth from our head referee there.
Again, like we mentioned, it is the subtotal battle here. So these lifters are going to want to not miss any lifts, right? These lifts all are crucial, and any missed lift can really make or break your championship here.
Absolutely, and when you talk about the subtotal, folks, we're talking about the squat and the bench prior to deadlift. As everyone knows, if you've been watching powerlifting for any extended amount of time, deadlift is really where the party starts. That's where folks start jockeying for position. We see those attempt changes. And so for all of our lifters, they have very similar deadlifts. These subtotals are going to be the name of the game here.
And Ms. Anna Ayala adds some valuable kilos to her total here. 12.5 picked up on squats second attempt, but unfortunately gets a 2-to-1 no lift call. Both the center referee and the right referee did not believe she squatted low enough. Let's see this replay right here.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, could have gone either way.
That was very, very close. I would almost say that, just like you said, it could have gone either way. Very 50-50 shot there. But goes to show, for the folks at home, if you're looking to get into powerlifting, if you're looking to compete at any sort of standard, you want to be sure that you don't squat parallel, you don't squat just above that. You want to be sure you squat as low as you can.
Common phrase is make it undeniable, right? Don't let the referees think that there's any chance of that squat being high.
100%. Here's Evie Yambez. What a second attempt that was.
Beautiful selection
and
there.
I am fired up after watching that one, folks. Evie Yambez, 185 kilos, shut down. Evie Yambez absolutely shuts down 185 and is putting on a show for the ladies 65 kilo class. Not to be outdone, Miss Christiane Hazard, taking 190 kilos, currently 8 kilos underneath her all-time American record best. And I think she is going to break it tonight, folks.
I mean, that lift at that bar speed, it looked like it could have been a last warm-up in the warm-up room, right? Just given how fast that moves. And ladies and gentlemen, on screen, what do we see here? We have a world record attempt by Miss Madison Lewis. 202.5 is loaded on the bar, and she will be breaking the junior women's 70-kilo squat record here. And juniors are lifters aged from 20 to 23, so she is within that range.
I was going to say, and just to put that into perspective for the folks at home, Miss Madison's taking a junior squat world record here, and she's hanging with some of the best in the open class, in the masters class. And this is really her first primetime competition. So Madison Lewis definitely has much, much more room to grow, much, much more time in her career to solidify 70-kilo supremacy. Oh, looks like it just got a little bit off balance there. Once that weight starts to shift to the side or anything outside of your normal range of motion, it's going to be so much harder for your body to be able to compensate through that.
And again, she will have a second opportunity to attempt this weight, right? These are only second attempts. So she will have one more go at it later.
And last but not least, we are on to our third attempt of squats, folks. Miss Jen Thompson, we're going to get the weight changed up for her. They had a little bit of a mishap there, a little bit of a slow lifting cast tonight. Nothing we're not used to, unfortunately. But Miss Jen Thompson, she did go up 2.5 kilos from that very, very difficult second attempt there.
And again, a lift moving like that on the second attempt could be from a variety of things, right? It couldn't have been a strength issue. She might have just have a bit of a misgroove, causing that lift to move a little bit like it did, but she believes that she can come out and hit this 160, so let's see it now.
Miss Jen
Oh
Thompson,
my.
I have no idea where she pulled that out of, but she, oh my goodness. Oh, unfortunately, it was a no lift, but my gosh, where did she pull that out?
I mean, it did move significantly easier than her second set. I mean, let's be real here. Where could you have thought she had 2 more kilos left in that?
I didn't think she had a single kilo left, but based on that, she had 2.5 kilos left. Oh my goodness, Miss Jen Thompson, what a run through squat today. But her bread and butter is the bench press, so we're excited to see how she recuperates and puts on a show for that. Marissa's taking 380 pounds for her last attempt.
Looked plenty fast. Let's see if it was plenty deep.
And unfortunately not. That's going to be a unanimous decision, I apologize, from all of our referees there. It looks like all of them were saw that depth. They didn't see it was quite deep enough. Let's check the replay here. Oh, that's close.
And you
That's
come
a
to
close
wonder,
call.
with a lift moving that well, could you have expended a little bit more energy in just getting deeper and fighting for that lift, right? It's one of those conversations you, as an athlete, right, have to have with yourself, right? Can I get that squat up, and can I almost fool the judges into thinking that squat was deep?
Absolutely. And, kind of on the flip side of that, you want to think about how, can I get those kilos back on bench? Can I get those kilos back on deadlift? And that just adds even more intricacy to the gamesmanship that we see tonight. Charles C. Eith, 5 kilo increase up to 380 pounds. And that's a clean squat, ladies and gentlemen. Your first lifter in this flight to make all 3 of her squat attempts. Charles C. Eith in the 65 kilo weight class. And that's going to be a good lift. Currently sitting in 5th in the ladies 65 kilo class on forecasted total. And for the folks at home, if we're talking about forecasted total, we're exclusively talking about the numbers that they've put in for their opening attempts, as well as the weights that they have already hit or are currently hitting on the platform.
Amanda Lacasse here failed 172.5 with a depth call and still opted to take 175, just try to make up a little bit of ground that was lost from not going the full extent of her planned third attempt.
And that's a bold move we don't often see here on the big stage, missing that second attempt, going up 2.5. Now let's see if she's able to satisfy depth here.
And white lights.
She does. Amanda Lacasse, big celebration going back into the corner there, solidifies 175 on her squat and ends her run under the bar on a very high note, moving into bench press. Here's Heather Grinkley. 5 kilo increase up to 391 pounds, 177.5 kilos. And again, this is Heather's first primetime competition.
And again, Heather is currently forecasted in 3rd, but is applying significant amount of pressure to both Evie and Christiane.
Absolutely. That gap is only within a few kilos, and so this is a very, very, very close race that we're going to see tonight.
And a very deep squat there for Heather. Gets 3 white lights. No doubt about that.
Heather Grinkley, currently your first 70 kilo lifter, or sorry, your first 65 kilo lifter to make all of her squats. And so she is, like you said, going to be applying that pressure to both Evie and Christiane. Right behind is Miss Hannah Jenny. Looks like she's in the corner by Mr. Joey Bags a Donut. I think that's his Instagram name. I could be completely wrong.
Mr. Joey Shepard from
Joey Shepard, yes. They're the cannoli team up in New York, is that right? I could be completely wrong. Anyway, Miss Hannah Jenny, 182.5 kilos, 402 pounds. Your first 400-pound squat of the evening.
We see Hannah getting herself psyched up and ready on the platform. These lifters have an entire minute to receive that squat command. One of the two commands here in the squat, it's both the squat and the rack command. So lifters have that entire minute to set up, walk out, and receive the command. So plenty of time for them to psych themselves up and hit their lift.
Hannah Jenny taking her time to get that brace, making sure she has everything she needs. And a good grab there by the spotters and the loaders. Looked like just a bit too much there for the third attempt. However, Miss Hannah Jenny currently sitting very, very well in the 70-kilo weight class. Within the top 10 currently, but we still have a ton of powerlifting left to go tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Anna Ayala going to retake 402 pounds from that missed second attempt. It moved extremely smooth in terms of bar speed, but did not get quite low enough for our referees. Let's see if she's able to do it here. Looks like it to me. Hit a little bit of probably one or two different sticking points on that ascent.
It looked deeper. However, she still received a 2-to-1 no lift.
That was a very, very close call there. I would go to the jury in that regard because why not? And sorry, as I mentioned it, what is a jury?
Yeah, so a jury is a different subset of referees who are on the platform observing the lifting. They are 3 referees, right? All 3 of international category 1 level. We see them on the back screen there in the live stream, and they are essentially making sure that all the rules of performance are being followed on the platform, whether it be from the spotters and loaders, lifters themselves, coaches, and the referees themselves. So if they believe that a call was made that is maybe a misapplication of the rules, they have the opportunity to overturn a lift.
Here's Carmen Hu, your current leader in the 70-kilo weight class, with a very, very, very smooth third attempt squat there. And this is a completely different Carmen Hu than we saw at last year's competition. This is a Carmen Hu that is playing 0 games. She is coming to take back the national championship that she lost last year. She is making a statement on the platform today. But not to be outdone, Miss Evie Yambez, 190 kilos. This is the first time she's attempting this weight in over 5 years. So not only will this put her in a great position in the 65-kilo weight class, but this will be a massive, massive milestone squat for her.
And again, for context, we say 5 years because she is a master lifter. She is in her 40s lifting with these primetime lifters.
Here we go. Evie Yambez gets that start command. And what a squat that is, ladies and gentlemen. The big let's go from Evie Yambez. Electrifying the building, everybody. Evie Yambez, 3 white lights, 3 very clean squats.
And I'm going to be honest here, looking at the forecasted placings, she is only sitting 20 kilos behind Christiane Hazard, right? So you can almost go as to say, as this lift for Christiane right here, this 200-kilo squat, needs to be hit by her, right? Because if not, she opens up the door and it swings wide open for Evie Yambez to continuously hit lifts if Christiane begins to miss.
Absolutely right, Miss Christiane Hazard. This will be an open world record squat attempt for Christiane Hazard. 200 kilos, 440 pounds. Your specialist in the squat, Christiane Hazard, finds her way up. A little bit more tired than she expected it to be, but that is
3 white lights.
Lift, ladies and gentlemen. Christiane Hazard creates a new world record squat.
And the battle is on.
That's right, Kevin. The battle is indeed on. Christiane Hazard doing everything she can to fight off both Evie Yambez and the rest of the 65-kilo pack. Be very interested to see what the rest of this competition will hold, especially as we get into the deadlifts. Our last squatter in this flight, Miss Madison Lewis, going to be taking 202.5 kilos. This won't be a record of any sort, unfortunately. However, this is a massive squat, looking to put her ahead of both Jen Thompson and Carmen Hu. 446 pounds for the junior 70-kilo lifter. This is almost 3 times body weight.
I believe this is a junior world record.
Junior world record attempt. That's absolutely right.
She is unable to chip this record because she is competing with open lifters.
Here's Madison Lewis representing A7 with the complete kit. And she's able to stand it up. Was it deep enough for our judges? Let's see the call. Unfortunately, it was not. 2-1 from both of our side judges. Let's go ahead and see if we can't check the replay on that. It looked very, very close from our angle.
Yeah, again, it's one of those lifts that could go either way. So if I was the coach, right, you have the jury there. You have the opportunity to challenge those lifts.
And especially if it's a third attempt lift where you're talking about, 2.5 kilos can be the difference between first and third, you have every right to go to that jury table and get some more information on what happened with that rep.
And again, just real quick, a bit of a storyline is opening up here, right? Carmen Hu goes 3 for 3 in the squats, and Madison Lewis only ends up with her opening squat, right? So that ends up being, and kind of closing the gap between all three lifters, right? If Madison continues to miss and Carmen hits, right, who knows if we might crown a new national champion.
Absolutely. And folks, if you're checking into the action on screen, we have moved to the second flight of powerlifting for Day 2 primetime at the Raw National Championships. Mr. Antonino Fazio, with an easy opening attempt at 237.5 kilos for the men's 82.5 kilo class. Right behind him, product of Georgia, a hometown product, Mr. Joel Chong. One of the strongest deadlifts in the South, one of the strongest deadlifts in the country, rocking one of quite possibly my favorite A7 kits that they have on their entire website. Joel Chong, a product of Forge Strength and Conditioning. Strength and Performance, excuse me. This is 530 pounds for an opener for him. Very clean squat there. Joel, coach himself, very aware of the standards of our competition today. And that's going to be a good lift for him. 3 white lights. Moving right along here, Mr. Kevin Cherry, product of my home state, North Carolina, in his first USA Powerlifting Raw Nationals primetime appearance. Here's Mr. Kevin Cherry. Very relatively short training age here for Kevin Cherry. Only 4 meets under his belt. And he's already on the primetime stage. Oh my goodness.
I mean, something you really don't want to see there, right? An opener being that heavy. So he unfortunately gets a 2-1 no lift. He got yellow cards, which can be a very level of infractions, right? We're not entirely sure what the infraction was.
I can kind of tell you there. So if you watch that replay, his hands, looks like his fingers came up off the bar just a little bit. And unfortunately, that will be a no lift for Kevin Cherry as he goes into the second attempt. So he will have a bit of a chip on his shoulder, looking to still get on the board here.
And ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the low down. This is Mr. Jaden Lowe, who most recently competed at the Collegiate National Championship just earlier this year in Oklahoma City, and he won Best Overall Lifter. He posted up one of the highest totals we've ever seen here in the 82.5 kilo weight class, and he is here now at the USA Powerlifting Raw National Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have never seen 589 pounds move faster than that, and I'm not sure you all have either. That's going to be a good lift for our returning collegiate national champion looking to make himself an open national championship tonight. Kyle Dawson carrying the torch. This is 600.8 pounds. Representing Team Outlier. Kyle Dawson returning from last year's primetime. He did miss his last bench and last deadlift at last year's primetime, looking to have a bit of a cleaner performance today. My goodness, folks.
And you can just see with that narrow stance squat, he has that bit of a time getting down into the hole, but once he gets past that sticking point, once he gets out of the hole, that squat just springs back up. Very excited to see what he squats today.
And Kyle Dawson, he's one of our guys that's going to be in the running for possibly that first place spot. It's really between Jaden Lowe, Michael Miller, and Kyle Dawson here in the 82.5s. Here's James Bryant, 275 kilos, 606 pounds. His last national championship was back in 2022 at the Mega National Championships. However, since then, he's added well over 70 kilos to his total. And looking to add a bit more tonight. That's going to be a good lift. Jonathan Carlisle coming up right behind. 280 kilos, 617 pounds. And we'll be interested to see what Jonathan's performance looks like across the night. With squat and deadlift, very, very consistent across the board. But with his bench press, I mean, we were looking at some of the numbers prior to this session, making 19 of 34 of his bench attempts. So relatively low success rate there for bench, but regardless, still boasts well over a 540 dot score. Very well deserving of his position on the primetime stage tonight.
And look at the shoes of choice. Not often do you see lifters squatting in J's like that, especially at this level, but looks fly on the platform.
I can respect the craft, Mr. Carlisle.
Very good attempt selection there. Referees say.
Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift on depth, unanimous decision across all three of our referees. And in those instances, you are still able to go to the jury and get more information there. But the likelihood of that being overturned is very, very little, especially if it is a unanimous decision across all of our referees.
Again,
oh, good.
We've had several missed openers thus far, right? We still have plenty of lifting left to go, but it is one of the conversations you have to open up, right? This early on, right? Is it going to be go up and try to see if you can make up kilos on your second and third after having missed an opener? Or will you just have to concede just in the squat portion and take a retake of what you just missed?
Here's Michael Miller. We were talking to him a little bit last night. Feeling very, very primed for this competition. And again, he is our lifter that's coming from another federation, so he doesn't necessarily have the highest nominated total of the competition today. However, if he's able to execute to his fullest extent, we will very likely see a new 82.5 kilo champion tonight. Trevor Bolus, 290 kilos, locked and loaded.
I've had the extreme pleasure of seeing Trevor Bolus compete at several meets out in Indiana, his home state. So it's very nice to see him competing now in primetime.
And these are, I was going to say, these are exactly the kind of squats that we are wanting to see for these opening attempts. Very smooth, repeatable, consistent, efficient. And we want to have these openers, like you were talking about just a little bit earlier, we want to set ourselves up for a good, consistent run across the board. You don't want to put too many eggs into one basket for the opening attempt, but you also don't want to leave too many eggs out. You want to have the full omelet, ladies and gentlemen.
Jacob Odom up next, right? Our third consecutive squat here of 290. So it's really looking like a tightly packed 90 kilo weight class, right? This can go to anybody's game, right? So all these openers are going to be incredibly important.
Wow. Now, this is my first time being able to see Jacob Odom compete on the national stage, and I might be a little bit biased, but he might have my favorite just squat of the night. You want to talk about someone who knows how to squat to their leverages, knows how to squat to their anthropometry and their body dimensions and their leverages. Look no further than Jacob Odom. I'm very interested to see how high he's able to take his squat throughout the competition. Coming up right behind Mr. Konstantin Vasilopoulos. 660 pounds for an opening attempt, everyone.
And again, he's also competing in the junior division, meaning he is aged 20 to 23, competing with the open guys.
Well over 3 times body weight for Constantine. Wow, very, very smooth opener. Excellent run of squats from all of our lads in this flight. Very clean openers across the board here. And looking to round out our openers, Mr. Kevin Sanukin, 315 kilos. For the folks at home, if you don't have a calculator on hand, that is 694.46 freedom units that Mr. Kevin Sanukin is going to be taking for his opening squat attempt, ladies and gentlemen. Returning national champ out of Georgia, relatively short training age from the rest of our pack.
And ladies and gentlemen, hoist yourselves because we will be watching a 700-pound squat today from him.
Absolutely. Now, Kevin, looking at that squat, a little bit slower compared to the rest of the pack. However, we've known plenty of squatters to squat super slow in prior attempts. And then, I mean, just looking at Jen Thompson in the last flight, you know, we're able to see them kind of dig a little bit deeper and pull that extra bit of strength out for the second and third attempt. So
you're absolutely right. I mean, the opening or second attempt could have had some sort of misgroove, a technical error that the lifter committed, which couldn't be fixed for the next attempt, right? So maybe Kevin had a bit of a shaky issue, just had a little bit of a misgroove, causing that to move slow, but we'll see what he puts up for his second attempt, which we see here is 330 kilos. But now we have Antonio Fazio taking 250, a 12.5 kilo jump for his second squat.
And for Antonino here, the name of the game here is consistency across all 3 of our squats. If we're able, and I mean, talk about consistency, 250 kilos moves like butter. You can't believe it's not butter. 3 white lights for that last one. But we're looking at Antonio Fazio here. Like we said, consistency is the name of the game here through squat. We're interested to see how Mr. Fazio's bench plays out here. We could possibly be seeing a new American record out of Antonino Fazio later on tonight for the bench press. But we are on squat now, so like we said, consistency is the name of the game for him. Here's Mr. Joel Chong, 252.5 kilos, 556 pounds.
We've seen this quite a bit from some of our lifters, but some lifters have elected for the uprights to be moved in, and that's a preference for some of the lifters, right? It can be either that's the way they're used to train, or it can be a way for the lifters to prevent the plates from hitting the uprights when they walk out. I personally have used it before, and it seems to work here for Joel Chong as he gets 3 white lights.
Absolutely right. Joel, I do not believe this is his first national competition, but this will be his first time on the Primetime stage. And not for nothing, this is going to be the same case for the majority of our 90-kilo lifters. This is their first time on the stage. And especially the case here with Mr. Kevin Cherry, who it looks as if he's doing this meet without a handler, without any sort of coach in his corner. So you've also got that added mental battle as well getting up to the bar.
I mean, not only is he thinking about psyching himself up for the lift, but he is also in the back crunching numbers, right? Figuring out his attempt.
That's right.
Handing those scorecards to the scoring table and doing it all on his own, which really is an undertaking of its own.
Here's Kevin. Let's see if we can find our way out. Come on, Kevin. Significantly faster. Still a little bit of a struggle there compared to that second attempt. And unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift. Another unanimous decision from all 3 of our judges. Let's check that back. That's another one of those super, super close calls, and it gets even closer of a call when you have a squat like Kevin's where his elbows are a little bit further out in front of him. You have multiple spotters that are watching that squat, and you know, with all of those variables, you have to make it that much more undeniable for our referees.
Similar story here. Jonathan Carlisle retaking 280 kilos.
Again, another one of our lifters. He missed his opening attempt on depth, looking to retake that and get on the board.
And again, bar speed is not an issue. Let's see if he got low enough this time around. 3 white lights, he is on the board.
We see a little bit of a nod of approval there from one of our referees. He's like, yeah, you definitely got the depth. You were on the board. Let's go ahead and make it happen. Here's Jaden Lowe here. 282.5 kilos on the bar, 622 pounds. This is going to be similar to his second attempt here that he took at Collegiate Nationals earlier this year. And so I imagine if he's going to be taking those same jumps, possibly chipping his best squat. Collegiate National Champion giving us the lowdown. 622 pounds down and up. 3 white lights. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Jaden's day, and we are simply living in it, everyone. This is his meat to lose. Coming up next, Kyle Dawson for the 82.5 kilo class. Very, very big squatter, very, very big deadlifter. An outlier, you could say, for tonight's competition. Within the top 30 of all time for the best totals in the 82.5 kilo class. Slow and controlled descent there, and I would argue that moved just as smoothly as his opener did.
And again, it's a 2-to-1 lift, so he did get one call on the side for depth, which, I mean, really as the weights get heavier, depth will maybe become an issue for some of the lifters. But again, with the speed of the bar, I can't see how strength is anywhere near of an issue.
Absolutely, and it definitely matched his prior attempt. He did get a red card from the right judge, so this time he got a red card to the left judge on that second attempt. So we'll see if he's able to get no red cards on this third. James Bryant, 639 pounds. And all of our lifters in the 90 kilo class, like we said, this is their first run in or on the primetime stage, and so it could truly be anybody's game. This is one of the more unpredictable classes that we've seen across all of our competition this weekend. Now here's the challenger, Mr. Michael Miller. Definitely has the 15th heaviest 82.5 kilo total across the board. Like we said, coming over from another federation, and so we will see if he's able to execute. His best squat is 320 kilos, which is massive, well over 700 pounds. So we'll see if he's able to recreate that here tonight. Taking extra time to get set up under the bar there, making sure he's fully locked in. Let's see the squat.
And that looks like an easy second attempt. Despite taking a 15 kilo jump, makes it look like cake. Gets 2-to-1, a good lift, and very excited to see what he loads for his third attempt squat, knowing that he's probably going to take another big jump based on how that moved.
And we're looking at the standings here just off forecasted total. With the squat that Michael Miller just completed, he is now your forecasted first placer in the 90 kilo, in the 82.5 kilo weight class.
In our last squatter of the 82 class, we got Trevor Bowles taking 305 as well, known for his very wide stance squat. Let's see how he handles 305.
That's a textbook squat, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift. Looks like just a bit higher than our judges would have liked to see that depth be. Coming up right behind Mr. Jacob Odom, 677.9 pounds. Let's just call it 678 for the people at home. Jacob Odom in the 90 kilo weight class. One of my favorite, just biologically beautiful squats that I've seen all night. My goodness, you can't. cut it out, take a picture, paste it in your book. That's what you want to see for every squat, ladies and gentlemen.
Unfortunately, though, just like Trevor Bowles, he gets a 2-to-1
goodness.
lift.
And that's another one of these close calls, ladies and gentlemen. But, you know, we're looking at our referees. These are Category 1, Category 2 level referees. They are the ones that are used to seeing that fine line between parallel and depth. And so, you know, like we said, you are able to go to the jury and contest that if you'd like. However, how much easier would it be to recuperate, readjust, and approach for the next rep? Konstantin Vasilopoulos, 15 kilos from his opening attempt, 694 pounds.
We finally saw a little bit of a struggle there, but the lift is good, 2-to-1. The lift is good.
Here's Mr. Kevin Sanukin, 330 kilos, looking to take the same exact weight as Mr. Konstantin.
And again, we are now crossing over the 700-pound mark here. 330 kilos is 727.
And Kevin Sanukin, with this squat attempt, should he be successful, will put himself at a decently sizable gap ahead of Konstantin, who is currently your forecasted second placer in the 90-kilo class. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, the entire landscape of the meet changes. And that's going to be a no lift there for Kevin Sanukin. I think he knew coming off the platform there. We saw a little bit of a chuckle. And it could be a misgroove. It could be it was just too heavy there for Kevin. But that does shake things up just a little bit, does shorten that gap between himself and Konstantin in the 90-kilo class. And now we are back to the top of the lineup here for our last round of squats for Day 2 Primetime, the 2025 Raw National Championships here in Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Joel Chong's taking 5 kilos up.
And just to give a little bit of credit of our lifters who lifted in the prior session, currently we have Wesley Chang, who competed in the session prior to this one, who posted up a 767.5 kilo total, who's currently forecasted in 3rd place. Arguably, we still have a lot of lifting left to go, but let's see how well he can fend off his position watching from the stands as these lifters in primetime are trying to exceed his total.
And now we do have bar loaded for Joel Chong, but it looks like we are going to see a little bit of a timeout here. And for the folks at home who don't know what a timeout is, what does that look like for the rest of the lifters?
You can really call it a courtesy or a very good sportsmanship act here, right? So maybe the lifter did not believe that they had any more left in the tank. Maybe they had something going on, or maybe they just wanted to time out and let their second 60-second timer run down and allow the lifters in that same flight an opportunity to rest and prepare themselves for the following lift. We saw that here, and now we are loading the bar for Antonino Fazio, who will be taking a 7.5 kilo jump to 257.5. Antonino's looking to go 3 for 3 and is really trying to put himself on the map. Currently forecasted with a 740 kilo total, if successful, with 257.5.
Antonino Fazio, 567 pounds, getting set up underneath. And again, Antonino just looking to have a clean run across squat because his bread and butter is going to be the bench press here. That's where he's going to be able to put on the most kilos for his total.
Looked plenty deep, gets the recommend, and the referees say 3 white lights. Lift is good.
Now, folks, we are going to be in sheer anxiety. I know I am going to be in sheer anxiety watching Mr. Kevin Cherry try and make this attempt. If you can see him, he's already looking just a little bit defeated, but Kevin Cherry, this is prime time, ladies and gentlemen. This is where these things happen. This is where stories are made. This is where lifters, this is where champions are born. And Kevin Cherry, with this lift, he's got to stay on the board. If not, he risks his entire competition. Kevin looking a lot stronger across the 3 walkouts with this one here. Looks like he kept his hands on the bar just a little bit. Come on, referees, give it to him.
2 to 1.
2 to
Lift
1.
is good. He stays on the board and gets a squat. That is really the best outcome and the closest you could ever get to staying in the meet. 2 to 1. The lift was good. He registers the squat.
I'm speechless, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Cherry out of Raleigh, North Carolina. You want to talk about someone that's born to be here? That is him. That is a performer, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next, Mr. Jaden Lowe going to take his his last squat attempt here at 287.5 kilos, 633 pounds. Apologize, folks. We're a little bit speechless on our end. Jaden Lowe really giving us the lowdown on that last squat attempt, moving it just as easy as his prior 2 attempts. That is a championship squatter, and we're going to see the rest of his performance play out as he tries to fend off Michael Miller for that 82.5 kilo crown. Bars loaded up next from Mr. Jonathan Carlisle after coming back from that missed opening attempt, making his second attempt at 280 kilos, going up 10 kilos to 290 kilos, 639 pounds.
Jonathan, another one of our top contenders for that podium position.
Jonathan gets that start command. Slower descent compared to prior lifts, and the spotters and loaders are going to have to grab that one. Just a bit too much on the day there for Jonathan. He does come away with 280 on his total. And even still, I mean, if we're looking at all the rest of the squats that we've seen throughout our competition today, I wonder if he had made that, if it might have been called for depth. Nonetheless, he's still on the board. We're going to move on to our next competitor, Mr. Kyle Dawson. 12.5 kilo increase to 655 pounds. The outlier of the 82.5 kilo weight class. And that's a clean squat, ladies and gentlemen. 2 to 1. All right, everybody. Coming up next, Mr. James Bryant, 305 kilos, 672 pounds. Coached by the strength guys. We see referee and competitor Mr. Manny Prito in the corner out of Squats and Science in New York. For the folks at home, 90 kilos in body weight, that's just under 200 pounds. And Mr. James Bryant is taking well over 3 times body weight for his last squat attempt. Showed signs just in the beginning there being able to power through, but just a bit too heavy on the day for James.
Up next, we got Jacob Odom, who missed his second attempt squat, 307.5, but still opted to go up 2.5 kilos, a very small amount, but still something, right? To go 310 and get that nice and round number. Taking a bit of a gamble here. If not, he will fall back 20 kilos on the forecasted placings and only remain with his 290 kilo squat. So a very important lift here for Jacob.
And like we said, Jacob is currently forecasted 4th here. Looks just low enough for me. What do the judges say? Come on, Jacob. A good lift, 2 to 1. Finger guns in celebration. And Jacob Odom is on the board with a phenomenal squat.
And talk about a gamble and trying to stay ahead with the pack here. Trevor Bowles failing his second attempt squat of 305 for depth, but still deciding to go up 7.5 kilos.
And not only that, but this will be a 2.5 kilo all-time PR for Trevor. So there's a lot riding on this attempt here. Just a little bit of pressure, if I do say so myself. 688 pounds. Can he find depth to satisfy our judges?
Talk about
What
a grind,
everybody. I'd give him that lift just on the grind
2 to
alone.
1.
2 to
Good
1.
lift.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor Bowless.
And yeah, with that angle right there, you cannot convince me that that squat was high.
Not at all. And he looks like he hit a wall, a true wall about halfway up, and just broke right through that to find the stand up. What a grind, folks. And what else can you expect from our primetime competitors this evening? Konstantin Vasilopoulos, 320 kilos, 705 pounds. Our first 700-pound squat of the evening. And it looks like he just got a little bit misgrooved there on the way down. It possibly went just a little bit too quick. We see him coming off the platform a little bit gingerly with that left knee. So we do hope he's okay. Very smart on him to try to not fight through that rep. Smart on the spotters and loaders to grab that from him. And we'll hope he's well rested and recovered going into bench.
And ladies and gentlemen, the chips are going on the bar. We have an American record attempt for Mr. Michael Miller here. Our lifter coming out from another federation and is looking to step in to the USA Powerlifting's national stage and attempt and break this record.
My goodness, honey, if you're watching at home, break out the rye bread. It is grand salami time for Mr. Michael Miller. 321 kilos, 707. And with this, Michael Miller will put himself atop of the leaderboard in the 82.5 kilo class. Come on, Michael. With that headband on, you just have to do it. Here he goes. Just a bit too much of a grind there. We saw that left hand start to shift a little bit on the bar as well. So I imagine that would have been a red light as well. But Michael Miller, I mean, you have to do that. You have to do that American record attempt on your last squat attempt in order to put yourself on the board, on the gold medal podium spot for the 82.5 kilo class. Yeah, you got to go for it.
And this just makes things a little bit more interesting in the 82 class. Talk about the silver lining here, but Michael Miller and Jaden Lowe are now only separated by 10 kilos.
Here's Mr. Kevin Sanukin. We do have 330 kilos loaded up again for him. He did miss it quite at the bottom there, or missed it pretty easily at the bottom on that second attempt, and I imagine we're going to be seeing possibly another timeout. And there's no shame in timing out a lift either. Not only are you saving and conserving energy for your subsequent attempts throughout the meet, but you're also allowing the rest of the lifters in your flight their due rest. And so not only is it a smart move, but it's a considerate move on behalf of Kevin for the rest of our lifters. And it looks like with that last squat, that is going to be the end of our squat competition for tonight's primetime competition. And I don't know about you, Kevin, but I want to say my favorite squat of the night might have to go to Mr. Kyle Dawson.
I would personally say my favorite squat was Trevor Bowless.
That's right. Trevor Bowless. Sorry, wrong name. Trevor Bowless. Absolutely right. Yeah, no. I would say Trevor Bowless absolutely won the best show of squat throughout the night. You want to talk about a grind? Let's go ahead and take that video, clip it, crop it, and put it in the dictionary, because that is the definition. And folks, we're going to go into a quick break before we hit into our bench press. Up here we have our standings for the ladies 65 kilo weight class. Right now, Christiane Hazard sitting well ahead based off of squat. She had a 200 kilo squat there, American record Evie Yambes and Heather Grinkley right behind, looking for any sort of slip-up to take that podium spot. Right after that, we're moving on to the 70 kilo weight class. We've got Miss Madison Lewis currently ahead by just 2.5 kilos from Stephanie Scoville, one of our daytime competitors earlier today. And and again, this is just based off of squats, so we do have a full competition left of powerlifting to go. But Carmen Hu, Hannah Jenny, both waiting to take that spot and move into the podium placing as well.
And in talking about the 82 men's here, we got Trevor Ballas with that grind of a squat and ending in that first place positioning for the squat attempts with 312.5. And then followed right after Michael Miller, who attempted an American record squat, unfortunately unable to get that, but still ends up in that second place position based off of squats with 305. And Mr. Kyle Dawson rounding off that third position with a 297.5. Again, these are just based off of squat, plenty of lifting left to go. And over in the men's 90 kilo division, we got Kevin Sanukin with 315, who unfortunately was unable to get his second and third, but still, based off of body weight, he is beating Constantine, who also squatted 315 kilos, and Mr. Jacob Odom rounding out that podium with 310. Again, plenty of lifting left to go, and we're just getting started.
Absolutely right. And then once we are done with this break here, we're going to take 10 minutes, allow the spotters and loaders to get a quick break to move into bench press. But we're going to take it to some action on the floor here. We're going to move on to our action over here on the on the floor here. We're going to move to Mr. Daniel Kim. Daniel Kim is going to be is one of our presidential candidates, moving in to hopefully shake some things up on the USAPL side. But he's going to be taking a look at some of our action that we're going to be seeing on the floor here. And here he is, Mr. Daniel Kim. Daniel.
Take it away.
Listen, I'm Daniel. I just saw your squats out there. I see you warming up for bench. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling all right. I misgrooved on the second one, but I knew I had it on the third. I feel like kind of got robbed, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's prime time. The referees do seem a little bit strict, but I think they're holding up the standard. How do you think bench is going to go?
It's been going really good in prep, so I'm hoping it sticks to it. I feel pretty good about it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw your warm-ups. They're flying. You're looking strong as hell.
Hoping they continue to move like that.
Yeah. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Let's go. All right. Well, these lifters.
Get access to world-class coaching in real time from anywhere. Whether in a small group setting or one-on-one, our coaches are in your ear during your training sessions, watching every rep and correcting every mistake.
Mr. Daniel Kim. Daniel, it's been a phenomenal pleasure getting you to have you on the stream today. What are you most excited about for today's competition?
Well, I mean, first of all, thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's a pleasure to be sandwiched in between the best commentators out there, right? Well, shoot, I'm looking forward to Primetime. I mean, it's called Primetime for a reason, right? Best of the best, cream of the crop, and bench press happens to be my, I wouldn't say best, but most decent lift. So I'm
His
looking
bread and
forward.
butter.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing these really strong folks lift some
Absolutely.
heavy-ass weights.
And so what are, looking at this week's competition, you know, this is day 2. You got a little bit of refereeing in yesterday. What were some of the things that stood out to you or probably could stand out to you throughout this weekend?
Well, I mean, I've run a whole bunch of my own competitions, but never on this scale. So like a 4 to 5 competition platform, major competition like this, it's a whole different level, and I learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to putting on something of this caliber in December in Korea, IDFPA World Championships. Look forward to it.
That's right, a little bit of a shameless plug there. USAPL will be having our own international championship, our first one coming this year, so be sure to look out for that. And so as we move into our competition, it looks like our bar is loaded. Looks like everything is ready to go. We are just waiting for our referees to get back in the chair there. And now both of you, both Kevin and Daniel, you guys are national level referees, category 2. If I'm not mistaken, Dan, you category 1?
No, I'm just national level.
Just national, okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
And so,
I'm a mere peasant
wrong with that.
among the category referees.
And so looking at some of these benches, what, as a national referee, what are some of the things that you're looking for our lifters on the bench press?
Well, I mean, I am a bench aficionado, so I'm curious as to the techniques. Like, I'm sure some of them are going to have more of like the sink, deep sink, or the soft touch. Maybe some of them are going to have like max grip, max internal rotation styles.
Here's Miss Amanda Lacasse, one of our commentators for one of our earlier sessions today.
Yeah, it looks like she has more of the, I wouldn't say soft touch, but just a moderate touch there.
Yeah, and just to piggyback a little bit off of what Daniel Kim just said, right? These lifters are our primetime lifters. These are the best lifters in the country, right? So in order to get to this level, you really have to find every single nook and cranny of efficiency you can maximize out of your bench press. So we're really going to see a lot of the max grip, high arch, just very refined techniques. And Carmen, who is setting up on the platform here, right? She is a subtotal girl, so we're expecting to see a very nice bench press from her tonight.
And now Carmen, who coming off last year's national championships, did miss her last 2 benches. She did have a very clean opener tonight as well. But we are going to be very intrigued to see how well she's able to maintain that execution throughout the competition.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I noted there is she's very efficient on her self liftoff. That's really important, especially at high level, because if you have an inefficient self liftoff, you know, then you have to like get back in position. You're losing steam. Then you got to put your butt down. Then you got to wait for the hands down from the refs. Then the start command.
It's almost like bench press is complex.
I think it's the most complex, even though it might not be the most exciting to look at back at home from a stream. I think it has the most things going through the lifters' minds.
Definitely the most margin for error, for sure. Here's Miss Anna Ayala, 198 pounds, 90 kilos.
Ooh, smooth.
And when talking about the intricacies of the bench press, I mean, even us as referees, we have 3 commands in the bench press we have to give. Here, our chief referee has to give the start, press, and rack command. So those are 3 different things, 3 different motions, if you will, that the referees are going to go through, and 3 different levels of observation, right? You're watching that bar come down. The bar comes down motionless on the chest, and then you watch that bar come up, making sure that the butt and feet stay on the platform or bench, respectively, and the hands stay within those 81 centimeter marks, and for the bar to not come down, right? No downward movement or heaving motions of the bar. So those are all little things that these referees are looking for.
Here's Miss Hannah Jenny out of New York. Very clean bench press there.
Nice.
Another one of our wide grippers.
Yeah, I can see there's similarity in technique. Most of them are doing kind of like that soft touch, very efficient self lift off. And so far, so good. Looks like the openers are moving as they should.
And it's what you want to see with these openers. These openers, like we said on squats, are really a telling sign for how the day is going to go. You want this opener to move fast. And just being able to get it on the board. Again, these lifters need a valid squat, bench, and deadlift to post a total and place and contend for this national championship.
Yeah, and you know, bench, you got to play it safe on your opener because after all, you got to get a number on the board, and bench tends not to put too much on your total anyway, so you definitely don't want to bomb out there.
Charlesy with a very, very high arch there, making use of your leverages, and that's really the name of the game here with the bench press. Like Kevin was alluding to earlier, you want to be able to use as much of your body. You want to be able to kind of bend the rules as much as you can in order to maintain within that within that competition standard.
Yeah, I mean, at this level, at Primetime, you're probably going to see similar form across the board because, you know, max grip, very big internal rotation, probably will reduce that range of motion.
Evie Yambez representing Castle Barbell, getting set up under 214 pounds.
Boom. Very nice.
And folks at home, that was indeed a full body lift. It might have just seemed like only her arms moved, which just lends further to the efficiency that Evie Yambez has in that bench press.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't tell, but you know, when you have a really good bench session, sometimes your quads get sore, and that means you're doing that leg drive properly. I've definitely had a couple times, you know, I cramp up in my hips, my glutes, my quads when I'm really going hard.
And for the folks at home, like Daniel was just talking about, these lifts, you know, while it may seem that the bench press is primarily centered around the chest and the upper body muscles, the squat, the lower body muscles, you know, same thing for the deadlift, but all of these lifts are compound movements. These are full body activities that these lifters are doing, and so it doesn't just lend itself to be strong in the chest to be able to bench press. You have to have strong legs, you have to have a strong core, and you have to be able to translate that across all three lifts.
Yeah, that's probably why she just kind of sank it a little bit into her chest and kind of like transferred all the power from her legs to the bar, and that's probably what helped her move that bar so quickly.
Absolutely. And here we have Heather Grinkley coming up to the bar, 102.5 kilos loaded, and for those watching from home, this is the equivalent of 2 commercial gym plates, 226 pounds, 225 if you will.
Yeah, that's a huge milestone.
Otherwise known as a two-plate day in the colloquial term. Heather Grinkley here out of the Air Force. This is 225 pounds, as Kevin mentioned.
Another soft touch.
And when you're looking at the bench press for the folks at home, you'll kind of see one or the other with these bench presses, right? If they have a bit of a wider grip, they're more likely going to have a bit more of a soft touch, only because, you know, where your muscles are going to be coming into play, it does lend itself to be more of a chest-based movement. And so not losing as much of that momentum off the chest is going to be super important. Conversely, if you have a close grip bench press, you might find it super fast off the chest, but the real problem is going to come with lockout once those triceps start coming into play.
Yeah, I would say once you hit a certain level of bench pressing, in certain weight classes, close grip is kind of a rarity.
And we see a common trend here with our women's weight classes, specifically our middleweight to lightweight women, having a very max arch wide grip bench press, really getting as much as they can out of the, I guess, rules of performance, if you will, from the rule book, right? Like Nick Stevens just mentioned, everyone's trying to almost find what the limit is when it comes to finding the ideal position in technique.
Isn't that what sport is all about?
Absolutely.
Absolutely right.
Staying within the confines of the rule, but maximizing what your body can do.
Christiane Hazard, American record squat holder. And now comparatively, and this is something that I wanted to kind of bring up to both of you and get your thoughts on, in comparison to some of our other bench presses that we've already seen, right? That was a relatively quick press command. Starting with Daniel, what are your thoughts on what a press looks like and what you would identify as a good press in order to get, or a good touch to get that press command?
Yeah, that's the tricky part about deciding on a style. Like, are you gonna do a soft touch or more of like a fast descent into your body, or you're gonna sink it? And the funny thing is, if you do a really soft touch, it's hard for the head ref to decide exactly when you're touching and when you're motionless. And if you do extremely soft touch, it almost looks like it's hovering sometimes. And then you might get a delayed press alert. And on the other side, if you sink too much, they're also waiting for it to stop sinking into your chest, and you also might get a delayed press alert. So you got to kind of decide, maybe you'll compromise and do what 2 lifters ago just did, like kind of very fast into the chest, get motionless as soon as possible, and then you'll get that press command very quickly.
Absolutely, and no strangers to the bench. Previously, we just saw Jen Thompson, who is a world record bench press holder here, so she is heavily experienced in this event. She will be... Oh, and we're seeing here on the lifting cast, she got credited with a no lift, so she is the last lifter to go in the flight, but she got called for, I believe, a blue card on the right referee and a yellow card from the center referee, so that could be a multitude of infractions. We'll have better clarification later, but she will be credited with a no lift from her 125 kilo bench press attempt.
Strong opener there from, strong second attempt there from Amanda Lacasse. And like we were just talking about there, kind of case in point, with that wider grip, it's going to be a bit slower off the chest. But once you can find that extra motion, it's very, very easy to get that lockout.
Yeah, once you pass that potential sticking point, it's almost a guaranteed lockout.
Here's Carmen Hu going to be taking 209 pounds, 95 kilos even. Carmen right now forecasted third for the ladies 65 kilo class. Sorry, 70 kilo class.
Oh, that moved pretty fast for a second.
And for the folks at home, if you tuned in to last year's national championship, by this point, Carmen Hu had missed 5 attempts. By now, she is 5 for 5. This is a completely new Carmen Hu, like I was talking about. We're going to possibly see some shakeups as we move forward with our competition.
It's a redemption arc.
Absolutely. Again, this championship happens year after year, so these lifters are given only one opportunity to claim that national title.
Here's Anna Ayala taking 95 kilos as well.
Very smooth second attempt there, adding 5 kilos to her total.
And now here's another point I want to bring up with the two of you. We've seen it kind of a variable between all of our lifters that we've seen today. Some lifters do it, some lifters don't. What are your thoughts on a belt for a bench? What do you think that could do for our lifters, and what are your thoughts on that?
I think for a lot of our bench pressers, using a belt increases a lot of torso stability when that bar touches the chest, specifically those lifters who might have a bit more of a sink, right? That can tend to change the position of the torso, and having that extra support, having that extra ability to brace with the belt will just give you a lot more, I guess, sort of resistance and pressure to push off of. Once you get that press command, you can really absorb that energy and then explode after you get that press command.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of belts, I like to wear my belt super low and super tight for the bench press, because bench is probably the only lift where you don't want intra-abdominal pressure. You probably want to keep that pressure in your upper chest where the bar's going to hit you. And the belt just helps me keep all my airs like really high up in my lungs, so to speak. All right, next up we got Charles C. Going for the 100 keys.
Miss Charles C. Eithier, 220 pounds for the folks at home. Virgin barbell product.
All right, she got a handoff. Okay.
So we saw a little bit of a hiccup there coming off the chest, just a tad bit of a misgroove, but, you know, like we'll say time and time again with these more technical benches, with these wide grip benches, we're going to see that lockout come a little bit easier once that sticking point has been broken.
And once you get to the elite level, I'd say bench is one of the lifts where a tiny misgroove is often too much to come back from.
And not only that, but even a small increase like 2.5 kilos could be all the difference between first and third or even making the podium.
I mean, when you're in these tight battles, an extra 2.5 kilos more on the bench press is 2.5 kilos less you have to pull on the deadlift.
Here's Miss Evie Yambez, 102.5 kilos, 225 pounds. Absolutely blows it up. Evie Yambez on a warpath tonight.
Yeah, I love her celebrations after every lift. She loves it.
Up next, we got our junior Madison Lewis taking a 5 kilo jump to 105, 231 pounds loaded on the bar for her.
I saw her warming up with red plates, and she was just tossing it like it was an empty bar. So I think she's looking pretty strong right now.
Madison Lewis, our current front runner in the 70 kilo weight class. Like we were talking about earlier, she is moving up weight class. She did move from the 67.5 kilo weight class to the 70 kilo weight class. So a little bit of an increase in body weight. However, for a lot of lifters, that increase in body weight means kilos and kilos and kilos on your total here. Case in point, Madison Lewis blows up 231 pounds. That's going to be a good lift.
She definitely has more of the sink style.
And not something you typically commonly see with not only female benchers, but really benchers in the USAPL or lightweight benchers or anything like that. So being able to utilize that sink, you know, further lends itself to the, not the unpredictability per se, but the individuality that each of our lifters can bring to the platform.
Yeah, because on the bench, we have so many different limbs involved, like, you know, like the arch, you know, your leg length, your arm length, your mobility, your shoulder mobility. There's like so many different factors at play. So yeah, a lot of different bench styles.
Here's Heather Grinkley, product of absolute strength and power. Very clean second attempt here.
Yeah.
These are some phenomenal second attempt benches we're seeing from our girls.
Yeah.
3 white lights, beautiful attempt there.
I would say bench seems to be moving more smoothly than squats for a lot of these lifters.
Oh, absolutely. I'll say without a doubt on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little surprised how rocky some of the squats were before.
Marissa's coming up next, going to be taking 264 pounds, folks, for her second attempt. Coached by Sean Collins of Sincere Training Systems out in New York.
Yeah, that is huge for a 70 kilo lifter. Ooh, okay. Little bit of a rough spot on the way up, but not unheard of for a second attempt.
Yeah, that was a solid attempt there. And, you know, for the folks at home, if they're seeing, and this is something that I was actually confused with my first time watching some of these bench presses, are their arms allowed to lock out differently?
Yep,
Oh,
as
yeah.
long as the entirety of the bar does not come down, yeah, you can absolutely have an uneven lockout.
Yeah, I've seen some absurd ones where they're like totally like 90 degrees on one elbow and locked out on the other, and then they just take turns.
Christiane Hazard with arguably the most kind of emphatic, kind of efficient, big thumbs up to the camera there.
Yeah, she looked very happy with that. Maybe she'll take like a 5 kilo jump, which is very big for the bench.
Definitely the fastest press command we've seen across the board, for sure.
Yeah, her technique is so locked down. She gets that press command almost immediately because it's very obvious the bar is motionless on her chest.
We got our bench presser up next, Jennifer Thompson. No stranger to this event.
time. How did it go for her?
And that's a good lift there. So Miss Jen Thompson's on the board there. Definitely not her first time on the national stage, and it is a family affair. We see her son, her husband there, Donovan Thompson, who competed earlier today.
I'm sure they have a great family legacy on the bench.
Well, if any of our folks at home have followed Jen Thompson on Instagram or have seen any of the content that she posts, and you look at her garage, it's just medals upon trophies. And not just hers, but for Donovan's, for Brody's, for Tucker's. A strong family coming out of my home state of North Carolina.
Yeah, I love their content. They like to have fun with powerlifting, as we should. It's not always about just lifting heavy-ass weights. It's also about smiling, having fun, doing goofy stuff once in a while, making content with your family.
Amanda Lacasse starting off our third attempts here for the bench press.
Ooh. I don't know.
Just a little bit too much juice out of the hole.
Well, yeah, 2.5 kilos might do that to you at that level.
An important thing here, too, when we're looking at our third attempt bench presses, across all 9 lifts for a powerlifting competition, the third attempt bench is going to be the most frequently missed lift across the board. Because, like we've been talking about this whole time, bench is definitely the most complex, the most intricate in terms of setup and force displacement and all that stuff. And so when we see these increases to get that extra little bit on the total, we start to see some misses. And so if you see some of these misses, know that for a lot of times these lifters are planning this.
And Carmen, who having a phenomenal day, going 6 for 6, 3 for 3 on squats, 3 for 3 on bench, and looked like she could have had a little bit more on that last final bench press, but she is building that total, and she is trailing down and tracking down Madison Lewis, who currently leads the 70 kilo women's weight class.
Yeah, she took like, I think, a 5 kilo jump on her third attempt, yet she smashed it. Looks like Hannah's taking a conservative 2.5.
We see a little bit of consistency with attempt selection, usually 5 kilos with the first bench and 2.5 for the second, and look to play it out in Hannah's favor here.
Oh, yeah. If she jumped 5 kilos.
I use this term a lot when I talk to my lifters and they make a really good attempt. That was crispy. That was crispity, crunchity, very cheesy. Great, great third attempt there.
Peanut buttery. Might I add?
Absolutely. Anna Ayala up here taking a 5 kilo jump to round out a 100 kilo third attempt bench press.
Yeah, 100 kilos is a huge milestone. Nice round number. And wow. Look like perfect.
That's a
attempt
press.
selection.
And again, really in the bench press, as you mentioned, third attempt bench presses are the most commonly missed lift. So you really, this is not the opportunity to get greedy. This is not the chance, the space to try to squeeze out that extra 2.5 kilos, right? Because 2.5 kilos can really make or break. As we see here, Charlesy, she's really only taking that 2.5, trying to squeeze out as many kilos as she can, but not tip over and miss a lift.
Yeah, and I think it kind of makes sense, right? Because bench, although it is a full body movement, the primary movers are smaller muscles. And, you know, they get around the same time break between attempts. So it's hard to lift really heavy when you get that amount of rest and have to move this much weight.
Wow, very controlled descent there. I always say controlled consent. Controlled descent there from Charlesy Eith.
Unfortunately, gets a no lift 2-1.
In that regard, and I'm not a national level coach, but I will go to the jury in that regard. Okay, so it was the right elbow. I think both Kevin and Daniel saw that as well. That right elbow was just a little bit unlocked there, and in that regard, that is going to be a no lift. So
was that a blue card?
It was, yes. A blue card from
yes.
both the head and the right.
So I didn't see downward movement, so it's probably the elbow not being locked out there. Which, by the way, is very hard to see for a side referee.
Here's Evie Yambez looking to continue a phenomenal run across the board. 3 for 3 for squat, 2 for 2 on all of her benches thus far. Let's see if we can take 231 for a ride.
Oh.
You know, something about those spotters and their magnetism powers, you know, they like to hold the bar on your chest as much as they can. No, but that's something that we see pretty commonly with the bench press when lifters miss and they have that wider grip, the more technical bench. It's very common for them to miss a little bit more off the chest.
I think we call that getting stapled.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That does tend to happen on third attempts.
We see Heather Grinkley here closing that distance against Evie Lambis. She, if successful with this attempt, she will be just 2.5 kilos under Evie in the forecasted placings, really in that hunt for swapping medals with her in that second place position.
Oh,
that's right.
That can make a big difference when it comes to the final pulls.
Heather Grinkley getting a lift off there. Taking good air into the chest.
Oh.
And a strong press. Heather Grinkley. Come on, judges.
So added to her subtotal. She looks happy.
Big celebration coming off there. I'd be super happy as well. Heather Grinkley, 6 for 6 on the day. Only our second lifter to do so of the day. And when we're talking about primetime competitions, it really comes down to how many good lifts you make. The second you miss a lift, that opens the door for any one of your competitors to add on that extra little bit to their bench or to their deadlift to surpass you on the podium.
And speaking of missed attempts, we have Madison Lewis, who's looking to go 3 for 3 here in the bench press, taking another 5-kilo jump after that unfortunate performance on the squat, only ending up with her opener. Despite this, she is still forecasted in first, looking to just fend off Carmen Hu is sitting in third, trailing right behind her.
All right, that sink. Boom, explosive off the chest.
I like that a lot.
And with that, Madison Lewis continues to extend her lead in the 70-kilo division.
She looks happy.
Up next, Marissa's going up 2.5 kilos, 270 pounds. Again, that small little jump to the third attempt, just adding on that extra little bit to that total. And this will be a 2.5 kilo PR for Marissa. Her previous best was that second attempt at 264 pounds.
Yeah, and sometimes when your second attempt is rough, it's still a good idea to add 2.5 to your third, even if you're not super confident about it, because, hey, you might get it, and usually, even if you don't, it doesn't take much steam out of your body for deadlifts. Ooh, yeah.
Yep, and like we're seeing, folks, with the wide grip, the more technical bench, we are going to see that miss a little bit closer to the chest rather than midway through up the range of motion there. But a solid attempt nonetheless for Marissa, finishing out with 120.
Yeah, she only loses out on 2.5 kilos here, which isn't a whole lot. But again, this can be a really big make or break for the 70-kilo division, who is really nice and tightly packed, as we saw in the forecasted placings.
Christiane Hazard up to bat, 130 kilos, 286 pounds.
She seems like she's a bench technician, so let's see how this goes. It's going to be a fast descent. Oh, yeah. Maybe
Christiane Hazard.
A little more in her there.
The trademark tongue out post lift. Big celebration coming off the platform there. Christiane Hazard, 6 for 6 on the day, just extending her lead in the 65-kilo class, trying to take as much room away from both Heather and Evie later on in the flight. And now our last bench presser of the day. Who else can we expect but the one and the only Jennifer Thompson? Bench press world champion, national champion, open world champion, national champion, masters. I mean, you name it, she's won it. Jennifer Thompson looking to take 303 pounds.
I'm a longtime fan. Come on. She's, all right, maybe just not her day.
And now Jen Thompson utilizes a little bit more of that sink bench presses as well, which very commonly, if you add a little bit too much of that extra leg drive with that sink, the bar can kind of track a little bit closer to your head, and that's where we start to see a little bit of that misgroove there. Not to say she didn't have the strength, because she 100% did. Very possible that was just a misgroove there.
Yeah, generally on the bench, once you let the bar go too close to your face, there's almost no way to recover.
Bar is loaded now for Trevor, taking 308 pounds, Mr. Trevor Bolus.
Yep.
Very quick and easy press.
As it should be on an opener.
Coming up right behind Mr. Joel Chong, taking 314 pounds. For those at home that lift in commercial gyms, this is a casual 3-play date for Mr. Joel. And the bar is loaded. Here he comes.
All right, he's going to go for a self lift-off.
And that is 100% lifter preference for everybody at home watching the stream. You have full right to ask for a liftoff from our head spotter. A lot of times that is personal preference. Some lifters want that added stability, bringing the bar out of the rack. Other lifters don't want that extra variable in terms of their competition, with the bench press being a variable lift in and of itself already.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons to it, right? I would say the pro is if you get a good liftoff, you potentially save a lot of energy off your shoulders and a little bit of the triceps. But the con is that you cannot choose who helps lift off for you. You know, you don't get your gym buddy to do it for you, so you might not be used to that style, and it might throw you off a bit on the game day.
Kyle Dawson up next, who had our third biggest squat of the session for the 82.5 kilo men's, opening up with 150, 331 pounds.
Ooh. Very smooth, very easy.
That's going to be a good lift there, and we're going to take the weight up a significant bit for Mr. James Bryan, 167.5 kilos, 369 pounds.
And again, just look at that stat. Mega Nationals, which was a competition just a few years ago in 2022, and he placed 23rd in that competition. And look at him now, competing in the Primetime division, competing for that top spot. What a remarkable increase. And with that opening attempt, he's got plenty left in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that good at math, but that is a 10% increase on his entire total in just a few years. In powerlifting, that's crazy.
Bars loaded up next from Mr. Jacob Odom. 90 kilo weight class, another one of our strong lifters in a very strong pack of 90 kilo lifters. He's going to be taking 380 pounds for his opening attempt. Also electing to go self lift off, a little bit of that wider grip there.
Easy.
And again, the faster you're able to show that head referee that that bar has completely stopped all motion on your chest, the faster you're going to get that press command.
Yeah. Well, what do you prefer? Do you do more of a soft touch or a sink?
Yes.
Yes. Everything above.
For the longest time, I did a little bit of the soft touch there, and for a while that worked great. But randomly one day in the gym, I was like, you know what? Let's see if I can't get a little bit of a sink to it. And with just the slightest bit of a sink, my bench press gained 30 pounds out of nowhere.
Oh.
So.
Well, you are kind of a bigger.
Kind of both, I like to think. But again, that's the variability, and that's with powerlifting, you're constantly growing, you're constantly improving and editing your technique.
That looked really easy, Constantine, with a nice opener.
And that is going to be a good lift for Constantine. Coming up next, Mr. Kevin Cherry, after an unfortunate run through squat, able to get his opener at 265 kilos, looking to have a clean run across both bench and deadlift here, 385 pounds, product of Raleigh, North Carolina.
That's a great name, by the way. Kevin Cherry. Oh, turbulence. All right,
so Kevin, Daniel, talk to me a little bit here. What's one of the things that you just saw, and then what are some of the things that we're going to possibly be looking at for Kevin moving on the rest of the competition?
Well, you can see from the on-rack from the get-go, something looked a little off, so I'm hoping he just kind of misgrooved that and his setup was off, because otherwise that did look rough for an opener. I'm hoping he just recoups in the back and just demolishes it on his second.
And then another Kevin Sanukin with the close grip, yeah.
Yeah, very close grip. I mean, considering his arms look quite long, close grip, that's an odd choice, but he pulls it off.
And then just to backpedal a little bit, Kevin Sanukin didn't have the most pleasant of squat days. He went 1 for 3 on squats.
Correct.
But based off of this opener, he does look like he has a lot more room left in the tank. So let's hope to see Kevin Sanukin put on a pretty big show for us today.
But let's not speak too soon. Like in my experience, close grip benchers, sometimes like the third attempt can be rocky. I feel like close grip, just my opinion, gasses out a little bit faster because it just overloads the triceps so much, and those are smaller muscle groups.
Absolutely. You do have that longer range of motion as well, so that's more total time for your body to be producing that force.
And then mechanically, you're just lifting a longer range of motion, so you're just spending a higher time under tension.
All right, boom.
Jaden Lowe.
All right, he goes with the sink style.
There's Jaden Lowe giving us the lowdown on how to truly bench press at USAPL Primetime. That's going to be a good lift for him. You're returning third placer from last year's Primetime competition.
So dad jokes are on the table. Can I
Of course,
unleash?
please go right ahead. Here's Mr. Michael Miller.
I don't want to turn off the audience too much. I'm not that young anymore, so I got plenty of dad jokes in me.
Michael Miller here, currently forecasted second, did unfortunately miss that American record squat. Or sorry, Michael Miller is forecasted first right now for the men's 82.5 kilo class. So a bit of work for Jaden Lowe to have to come back from.
Looks like we're seeing a lot more sink styles now that we're entering relatively higher weight classes. I mean, 82.5 men do tend to be still kind of lean, but so far we've seen maybe 2 or 3 of them going with a deeper sink.
Jonathan Carlisle getting set up under 413 pounds.
Kind of a close grip here. Ooh, that's
with the sink as well. Very interesting combo, but it plays out for him.
Oh, yeah.
And just to put the perspective, these 3 final bench presses have all been in the 82.5 kilo weight class. So these 82.5 kilo lifters are out benching the weight class above them, right? So just goes to show the level of talent that these lifters are bringing to the platform. I mean, Antonino Fazio is the final bench press of this flight.
Now this is what I want to see, folks. Antonino Fazio, in training, he's attempted 227.5, which is well above the American record bench record at the moment. So we will very likely see Antonino go for something pretty nutty here, looking to take that American record home for himself.
227, isn't that like 500 pounds?
Close to it.
Yep, 501.
Damn. Okay.
Beautiful.
I would say that didn't look too easy, but I'm sure he has a decent amount left.
Yeah, and we'll be watching to see what he puts in for that second attempt. And for the folks at home, if you all are interested in following along with the live attempt coverage, the live attempt inputs and all the placings and all that stuff, go ahead and tune in to liftingcast.com/meets. Go ahead and scroll down to USA Powerlifting Raw Nationals Day 2, Platform 1. You can follow along with all of those live numbers as they're put in as we see them. And we're going back to the top of the order here. 147.5 kilos for Trevor Bolus.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. I would say that moved quickly for a second. That was a pretty decent jump, 7.5 kilo jump.
Coming up right behind Joel Chong, rocking the brand new pink A7 colorway. Shout out A7, our presenting sponsor, Demand Greatness.
Is that a new colorway?
I believe so. I believe it just dropped in the past couple months. This along with light blue.
Okay. Can you rock pink?
Me? No, absolutely not. Would I love to? Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't have the confidence for it, but I respect it.
So to go well with the logo in the back.
Oh, that's true.
This is 336 pounds. Joel Chong out of Georgia.
Oh.
And that's going to be a no lift there for Joel. It looks as if, and this could just be from my point of view, just watching the screen, it looked as if he might have touched a little bit lower on his chest there. And when you have a little bit of a lower touch point, it's almost as if you're overloading the bench with a wide grip. It's going to be hard to find that initial movement off the chest. And so I imagine there's going to be a bit of a retake for that weight for Joel in the next attempt.
Yeah, I mean, he did take a 10 kilo jump, which is kind of a big one, going from 142 to 152.
It's about 22 pounds.
On bench press, it is on the aggressive side.
Yeah.
However, here we have Kyle Dawson taking a 7 kilo jump, which is around what you would expect to see from these 82.5 kilo lifters.
Yeah. Let's see it. Oh, okay.
Moved just as cleanly as the opener did. Kyle Dawson, that's going to be a good lift. 3 white lights. Oh, sorry, 2 white lights. He did get a yellow card from, it looks like, our right judge there. And
I'm going to assume that means maybe his butt came off slightly?
I would say that, or possibly his foot might have come up, but we also didn't see the view of the feet. So who really knows, ladies and gents?
Yeah.
And again, that's why we have 3 referees positioned in 3 unique spots across the platform, right? You have to look at the hands, the butt, the feet, right? Everything that this lifter is doing. There's so many moving parts in the bench press.
Yeah. To be honest, to judge bench very well, you kind of have to have like a third eye.
Absolutely.
Kevin Cherry looking to get on the board here with 175.
Oh, okay.
And this is going to be a tough spot for Kevin to have to work out of, having missed those prior 2 attempts on strength.
Yeah, I don't think it was a technique issue.
And I wonder, and this is something from, I've been watching lifting for years now, years and years. And I wonder if he wasn't coming into the meet a little undernourished. I wonder if there was any sort of cut he had to do or any sort of adjustment to his body weight that he had to try and recuperate from. Because if you look at that unrack, he was pretty shaky. And I've seen Kevin lift, I've been watching Kevin lift for a few years now, and that's normally play weight for him.
Looking at the body weights here, Kevin Cherry weighed in at 88.1. So body weight manipulation might have not actually been a factor here. Maybe could have been he just lost weight from maybe a sickness, travel, right? There's so many extenuating circumstances that might go meet week, right? We hear it time and time again of these lifters just having a very tough prep or just maybe having some, I guess, unpredictable externals come up, right? That might just alter your lifting or anticipated plan here on meet day.
Absolutely.
Bench would be the one to take the biggest hit if something unpredictable happens.
Oh, without a
especially
doubt.
On the game day. Oh, okay.
Interesting go there. I wonder if he might have heard.
I think he missed the press command,
Yeah,
and then his brain told him, let me take another shot at it.
He got up too, was like, well, that was interesting. So
again,
I wonder if he was kind of timing that press.
Yeah, I've personally done it myself too. I was a Teen 2 lifter, still in my
Yesterday,
second meet out, right? And then I try to, play the game a little bit, right? Time the bench press, but never works out in your favor.
Never.
The referees know when they're giving you that press command again.
And I think he came off the bench a little bit of a laugh, a little smile. He's like, you know what, that was funny. Let's go and run that back.
You got me.
You got me.
He's like, I was just testing you.
Constantine, second attempt, good at 402 pounds. 2 out of 1 good lifts. 2 out of 1 good lights. Here's Jacob Odom. Also taking 402 pounds. Just over 2 times body weight here.
He has a beautiful unrack.
Wow.
Very technical.
And you can almost expect, with lifters that have that self-lift off, you almost have to be sure that your unrack is on point, undeniable, clean, and consistent. Because if you unrack that weight, even just the slightest millimeter off balance, and that could tank your entire lift.
Oh yeah, because if you're too far away from the bar, for instance, you just like fry your shoulders trying to unrack. But if you're right at the sweet spot, you'll save so much energy and time.
All right, looking to give us the lowdown here, Mr. Jaden Lowe, 418 pounds.
Oh, he took a 10-kilo jump, which is about normal at this weight. We're going to see a fast descent and a big sink on this one. And he's going to be very explosive off his chest. Boom. Boom.
Very nice. Very nice.
Did you guys see a technique breakdown? Because I did not. It looks as consistent as a bench press can be.
Oh, he's on fire.
Looking to fend off Michael Miller as much as he can. Right now, off of forecasted total, he is ahead. But we've still got a whole lot of lifting to go. We've got one more round of bench press and the deadlifts, which, if everyone knows at home, deadlift is where the party starts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as I said, I'm a fan of the bench, but we all know that the real lifting begins once the deadlifts begin.
Here's Jonathan Carlisle. Yep.
Yeah, Jonathan Carlisle having a little bit of a battle on his own. He's battling Morgan Chan, who lifted in the previous session, totaling 780. Jonathan Carlisle, if successful with this bench, will just be 15 kilos below that. So he really needs to make these attempts if he wants to end up on that podium.
That's right. Very big sink there.
Yeah.
And a little bit differently than we've seen from some of our other sinking bench pressers. Why do y'all think he got that longer press command?
He has the gradual sink style.
Exactly.
Which is good and bad, right? Like, the good part of a gradual sink is that you can feel the control of the bar all the way through, and there's less unpredictability. But the con of that is the referee is going to wait longer to give you that press command because the ref can't be certain that the bar is motionless until it's very, very clear that it's stopped moving.
Absolutely. A lot of times lifters think that once that bar touches the chest, that press command is coming. But if that bar is not motionless, you best wait because that referee will hold you.
You will sit there for a while. Here's Michael Miller looking for an answer to Jaden Lowe. And he put a period on the end of that answer.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
3 white lights for Michael Miller. Folks, we have got a battle on our hands.
You see the expression on his face? He's angry in a good way.
He is ready. He is locked in. And we are now at the end of the flight here, Mr. Antonino Fazio, 451 pounds.
What's your best bench?
82. Nowhere near this. Okay. Nowhere near this. I almost don't want to say my best bench out of embarrassment in watching Mr. Antonino Fazio.
I mean, this is some people's squats here, right?
Antonino, a big 225-kilo bench when he competed in the 90-kilo class.
You saw that shoulder retraction? Wow.
And now I wonder, he does have a 217.5 bench previously from the 82.5-kilo weight class, so it'll be interesting to see if he's able to recreate that.
What do you think he's going to put for his third attempt?
I think 210 might be the answer.
Yeah.
You know what, just because you said 210, I'm going to say 212.
That didn't move so fast. I don't think he'll bet on anything higher than a 5-kilo jump.
Again, Daniel, you saw that little bit of a shoulder retraction he had, right?
Yeah.
It almost looked like his bench was in separate gears, kind of locked it out a bit, and then finally locked it out. So we'll see how the coaching staff analyze that attempt.
Ooh, call me a prophet, ladies and gentlemen. Antonino Fazio put in 212.5.
Oh, okay.
And look at this grind by Trevor Bowles.
Is it Bowles or Bolus? I don't want
Bowles.
to. Okay, Bowles. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, he's happy.
Wow, you want to talk about two insane grinds from Trevor Bowles. How much more does he have in the tank?
He got that lift, right?
Yeah, he did.
Very impressive
Going
that he
3
kept
for
his
3.
butt down. I can see it like just shaking, and he was going full body there.
Good shout out there for Joel.
All right, let's see if he changes his technique up a bit. As you said before, maybe he had a slight misgroove, but he might redeem himself on his third.
Joel definitely that little bit more of a technical bencher here.
He tempoed it.
Very, very, very intentional with that touch point. Was able to find his lockout. Could he keep his butt down? Unfortunately,
guess not.
no. My gosh. But let me tell you, what a change of intention from second to third.
Oh, we got a different camera angle here. Yeah.
It was just the slightest bit, too. Just the slightest bit.
But that just shows these refs are on point, because you really got to get your eyes down there to see the butt come off like that.
Kyle Dawson, 165 kilos, 363 pounds.
A consistent 7 and 7 jump.
Might be a smart move. We'll see. Okay.
Hits that sticking point, but finds his way through, locks out the arms.
I didn't see it go down, did you?
Not a bit, and that's a good lift
And
for Kyle
a
Dawson.
genius attempt selection there, really squeezing out as much bench press out of Kyle Dawson. Team outlier there for
He
you.
didn't even have like 0.25 left in him there. If you breathed on that bar, I don't think it would have gone up.
And ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Cherry is in a very tough spot here, retaking 175 for the third time now.
You can see him channeling some inner demon. He really needs this. I'm rooting for him.
It might seem silent on our end, folks. All three of us are watching this screen with such intent.
Come on, Kevin, let's go. Go, come on.
And ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Kevin Cherry has been disqualified from the 2025 Raw Powerlifting Primetime. Unfortunately, not being able to post a bench press there, he will not be able to qualify for the total or placing or anything like that. But we want to talk about Kevin for just a little bit. This is he's got an extremely short training age. You know, he's only had 4 meets under his belt going into Primetime.
Oh, is that right?
So there's a ton of room for growth for Kevin, especially as he finds himself more frequently in these high-level positions.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Sanukin, much better job of timing that press command, gets a good lift, and 3 wide lights.
I mean, even though Kevin Cherry might be disqualified, I think he'll come back stronger than ever. This
Absolutely.
is the type of experience that makes you learn.
I think some of the best lifters in the sport across, any federation, any weight class, are those lifters that have come back from adversity, are able to recuperate from, okay, I didn't have the best run, but you know what? It's a meet. It happened. We still got plenty more to go.
Ooh, okay. A bit of a grind. Let's see what the refs say. They say it's 3 wide lights.
And we could hear the celebration from here, ladies and gentlemen. Good lift there for James Bryant. Coming up next, Mr. Konstantin Vasilopoulos.
That is a lot of syllables in this name.
5, to be exact.
Wow, you can count fast.
It's the only number I can count up to. Don't be too impressed there, David. Konstantin gets the lift off there. Good press out. I was looking at that left arm. I wonder if it was just locked out enough.
I was actually going to say that.
But he gets 3 white lights nonetheless. That is all you need, and that's why we're sitting behind this table and not on the platform.
You also got to think, too, and I've seen this a little bit more frequently as well, some lifters just have really big arms and can't get that full lockout.
No, sometimes people have medical issues. Well, they just can't extend their arm.
Right. Here's Jacob Odom. Now, this is, and I don't know if you all saw that little notifier we got above the heads-up display, but this is a 10-kilo PR for Jacob Odom, over 22 pounds. Wow.
Did he lock that out?
And to add 10 kilos on the bench press, let alone on any other lift, but bench press being the most difficult lift to progress on arguably, right? And just stack on 10 kilos like that really just goes to show the rate of progress these lifters are having from meet to meet.
And yeah, that was perfect attempt selection. He probably did not have much more in the tank.
Jaden Lowe up next, handled by none other than Mr. Jim Battenfield.
Jim is my co-technical secretary for IDFPA Worlds, by the way. And I think I chose very wisely.
Phenomenal referee, very knowledgeable about the game.
Yeah, and, now that I'm on that topic, I will be directing our first ever Open and Masters World Championship in Seoul, South Korea, December 11th through 14th. We're going to go all out, all the bells and whistles. We have an esports venue for that one, so the live stream will be crazy.
Jaden Lowe put a period, exclamation point, no question marks on that one, 3 white lights. You said an esports stadium.
Yes.
I might have to make a trip to South Korea.
And just to piggyback off that, we might see some of these lifters we are commentating right now come out
At
to
that
North
competition.
Korea, and get there, get it, battle it out again for a world title.
Jonathan Carlisle coming up next with 200 kilos for his last bench press attempt.
Top 3 placings for each weight class, including Masters, get invites to Worlds in December. And by chance, if some of them can't make it, the invites just go down the line. So even if you're 4th or 5th, 6th placing, remain optimistic. There's still a chance you might head to Korea this winter.
Jonathan Carlisle, beautiful sink. Ooh, finds that lockout at the very last minute.
Downward movement there, maybe. Refs have to show it. Okay.
So the head ref definitely saw it.
Yeah.
That is a good lift there, 2-1. Head ref definitely saw a little bit of that upward and downward motion as indicated by the blue card. However, 2-1 is all you need in this sport. Majority rules.
Down to our 2 last and final bench presses of the night. Mr. Michael Miller looking to further extend his lead against Jaden Lowe. If Michael Miller is successful with his bench, he will end with a 825 kilo forecasted
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your coverage of the 2025 USA Powerlifting Raw National Championships Day 2 primetime session. We do apologize. We are experiencing inclement weather here in Atlanta, Georgia, so we did have the power flicker on and off. It did take us about a minute or so to get the stream back up. We are working to get everything completely rocking and rolling for you all, but we do have our action rolling on the platform here. We did have Jen Thompson take an easy opening deadlift attempt there at 165 kilos. And then we've got Miss Marissa. We've got Miss Marissa taking her 165 kilo deadlift as well. That's a good lift. Coming up next, Miss Amanda Lacasse, 175 kilos, 385 pounds. And Kevin, as we're talking about the deadlifts, and I mentioned to it a little bit earlier today, but this is really where the competition starts to shake out. This is where we start to see these placings start to get a little bit more solidified with each attempt. And when we're looking at these attempts, these lifters have the ability to change their deadlift attempts with upon their third attempt. So when the third attempt deadlifts start rolling in, we'll start to see possibly some changes of attempts there as folks start to jockey for those little bits of placing there.
Absolutely, and just to add on, right, we've reiterated the idea of having a short memory. So up until this point, everything that was done in the squat and bench is coming down to these final 3 lifts, right? So these lifters have the opportunity to put up the biggest subtotal they possibly can off of their squats and bench attempts, and then really close it all off with the final deadlift. Up until this point, right, a common phrase in powerlifting is the meat doesn't start until the bar hits the floor. So
that's right.
These lifters are trying to solidify their placements in the deadlift event. Just to keep you guys up on the action, Anna Ayala was successful with 175, and right now we got Charlie's Isle with 177.5.
Yeah, that's 391 pounds for Charles C in the opening 65 kilo class. Currently one of our middle runners in the 65 kilo weight class, currently sitting in second place, but forecasted 5th as we get through the rest of our opening deadlift attempts here. And that was a good lift for Charlesy. Bars loaded up again for Miss Christiane Hazard. Christiane Hazard, 407 pounds loaded up, 185 kilos. Already slated in first place, forecasted for just her subtotal and her forecasted total. As of right now, we'll be looking to try and fend off Evie Yambez and Heather Grinkley as much as possible. Heather Grinkley in that third position, looking to inch her way closer and closer to that top spot.
And speaking of top spots here, Carmen Hu is in the running for the 70 kilo weight class. She is trailing right behind Jennifer Thompson and Stephanie Scoville, who competed in the session prior to this one.
That's going to be a good lift there for Carmen Hu. And looking into the competition first, so for the folks at home that are just looking at USA Powerlifting Primetime Nationals as their first powerlifting meet to watch on screen, deadlift is probably the most hype of all of the lifts, but it's definitely the easiest in terms of adhering to the outlines of the judges. So the only rule that our lifters have to abide by is that down command. So once that bar is loaded, the lifters have the full minute to initiate the movement of that bar, initiate the upward movement of that bar.
And the referees are looking for several things in the deadlift. Obviously, lifters have the option to lift sumo or conventional. That is the style of their choice. The referees are looking to make sure that once the deadlift is fully locked out, those shoulders are back and the knees are locked. Once the lifter receives that down command, lifters can't get too excited just yet because they have to lower the bar with control down onto the platform, because if you release your hands from the bar and before the plates touch the ground, and you can't drop the bar, that'll be a no lift. As well as any hitching or ramping using any sort of momentum to get that bar up into that locked out position, that'll be a cause for no lift as well.
Madison Lewis has 8 seconds, but again, like we said, she does not have to wait for any start command or anything like that. As long as she starts the initiation of the pull before the time, and she does. No, she didn't. She just timed it out. I believe she just timed it out by like 0.01 seconds.
So I honestly believe this is a mistake of the referees, because in the rule book it outlines that you have 60 seconds to initiate the movement of the deadlift, not receive the down command.
Correct.
Just like in the bench press and squat, you have your 60-second timer to initiate the lift, which is denoted by the start command or the squat command. So in this case, I believe she just might have not gotten a appropriately officiated lift there.
Bars loaded up next for Heather Grinkley, 192.5 kilos, 424 pounds. Heather Grinkley currently sitting in 3rd place. And again, if this is your first time watching powerlifting at home, Heather's got some stuff on her legs. That is called baby powder. Ladies and gentlemen, baby powder is allowed in competition for the deadlift portion only. It just allows a smooth, even playing surface for our lifters to glide that bar across the skin. Very important distinction if you're looking at the stuff on her legs versus the stuff in her hands. The powder makes it slick, the chalk makes it stick. So you want to make sure the chalk stays on your hands, the powder stays on your legs.
And with that, we are done through our first round of openers. We have Marissa Aikita up next, taking 172.5, a 7.5 kilo jump from opening to second attempt deadlift. Marissa, with this pull, will put her at a 406.
Christiane Hazard, big pull, second attempt, smile at the top, very happy with that.
Goes
big celebration.
8 for 8 so far, but a bit tough of a second attempt there. I'm not quite sure what Steve Denovi will put in for her 3rd attempt deadlift, but she is well in the lead. So, I mean, at this point, this 3rd attempt deadlift for Christiane will really just be a victory lap. Just trying to put something up on the board and trying to achieve the highest dot score.
That's right. Evie Yambez is currently sitting 492.5 kilos on the forecasted total, but Heather Grinkley only forecasted 2.5 kilos just below Evie on that forecasted total. So very possible for Heather to be able to add those extra pounds to change that 3rd attempt and to be able to pull into 2nd place there. Here's Madison Lewis. No lift at her opener at 190 kilos. Looking like a very smooth lift here at 195 kilos.
She was the lifter who unfortunately timed out, but still went up 5 kilos nonetheless, and was successful in that 2nd attempt. Carmen Hu up next, taking a 10 kilo jump from 185 to 195.
Carmen with a perfect subtotal run through both squat and bench. And like we were saying, with the 70 kilos, this is truly the battle of the subtotals. And now that Carmen Hu has satisfied all she needs to do, solidified a perfect run through her subtotal, now she's just got to tighten the bow, wrap up the package nice and neatly, and she'll get sent home with the gold medal in prime time.
Also taking 195, Hannah Jenny up next. With this pull, she will land herself at a nice and neat 470 kilogram total.
429 pounds, loaded for Hannah Jenny. Evie Yambez locked and loaded, 200 kilos, 440 pounds, and we can hear the electricity from the audience back here in the commentary booth, folks. Miss Evie Yambez taking 440 pounds. Getting set up, taking her time with that setup. Very strong approach to the pull. Look at that. Evie Yambez.
Lift is good. And talk about two different master lifters battling it out with the open. We have Jennifer Thompson in the 70 kilo division and Evie Yambez in the 65 kilo division. Talk about the longevity some of these lifters are having in this sport.
Absolutely, and Evie Yambez only just recently started competing in her 30s, so for the folks of you at home that are watching and think, oh, these ladies are strong, it's way too late for me to get in the game. You could not be more wrong, folks. There is no timeline for USA Powerlifting. We have age divisions all the way up to Masters 5, so up into the 90s. It is never too late to begin your strength journey. It is never too late to even find yourself on the biggest stage of them all. Heather Grinkley, big third attempt there, 446 pounds. That's a good lift for her.
And with that pull, she closed down the distance behind Evie Yambez, just separating the two with only 2.5 kilos. So it's going to come down to the final deadlift.
It really will. And really, it'll come down to whether or not Christiane's able to hold her own with that last deadlift, because all it takes is her to miss one lift, and then if Evie and Heather are able to add a little bit more momentum onto their pulls and change those attempts, we could see some things shake up.
We got 187.5 coming up for Anna Ayala.
413 pounds. Anna Ayala, the lift is unfortunately no good there. She does get a red card with a blue indicator from both the front and the side judges, so very possible that there was maybe some up and downward motion, maybe lockout wasn't completely there, maybe the shoulders were just a bit more over the bar. Coming up next is Charlsie Eith, Charlsie Eith taking 195 kilos after missing 187.5 kilos. A bold move, Cotton, a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if this plays out for him. And does Charlsie Eith.
And with that pull,
429.
She swapped from 5th place over to 4th, so she moved up a ranking.
And the lift is good for Charlsie Eith.
And ladies and gentlemen, with this pull for Christiane Hazard, she will total a whopping 527.5 kilos, which will put her at a 567 dot points, ladies and gentlemen.
Unbelievable, folks. Christiane Hazard throwing all caution to the wind here, getting her due diligence, looking for her first win at USA Powerlifting Raw National Championships, and where better to do it than on prime time. And it looks like the spotters might have added an extra plate to that deadlift there. Didn't budge quite a whole lot. Also didn't see that Christiane wanted to struggle too much for that one. Nothing wrong with that at all. We still have Christiane Hazard as your national champion in the 65 kilo class.
That is
for
still
now.
That is still a 564 dot performance. Come on.
Absolutely. 564 is insane. Jen Thompson looking to finish strong. This is a world record attempt for the Masters 2 70 kilo division. Can she stand it up? And she does.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a new world record for Jen Thompson.
This is a new Jen Thompson we're seeing, folks. I don't. This is probably Jen's best competition we've seen her at the Primetime stage in many years. The energy that she's brought to the platform, the execution with which she's completed her lifts. What else can you expect from Jen Thompson?
We still have plenty of lifters left to go, but Jennifer Thompson currently sits in 3rd place. So she will be walking away with a bronze medal. Madison Lewis looking to extend her lead from 500 kilos to 505, looking to fend off Carmen Hu.
This is 440 pounds. Madison Lewis again in a new weight class. One of our youngest competitors of the day looking to solidify her place atop the leaderboard. 440 pounds, celebration at the top. Come on, judges. And the lift is good. Madison Lewis, your provisional 70-kilo champion.
Carmen Hu is up next, and it does not look like she will be pulling for the win. She is currently forecasted and slotted in 2nd with a 485 total, looking to extend that position to 495 with a 205 kilogram deadlift.
Here's Carmen Hu, product of White Toe Lifting Co. Wiggly Tufts, rocking the Jiggly Puff socks. Carmen Hu with a perfect performance, ladies and gentlemen. She is your 70-kilo national champion. Or sorry, your 2nd place finisher in the 70-kilo weight class, Carmen Hu.
Talk about a comeback meet. I mean, after the performance at 2024 Raw Nationals in Salt Lake City, Utah, to come back and place 2nd at Nationals is truly a remarkable tell.
Absolutely.
Hannah Jenny up next, taking a 10-kilo jump to 205. With this pull, she will stay in 5th and get herself a medal.
That's right, and we're already seeing the 70-kilo class kind of play out here.
Talk about a fight. Unfortunately, just couldn't hold on that right hand and receive the down command, but still an amazing grind there. We have some attempt changing going on in progress. We see that. Up next, we got Amanda Lacasse, who is trying to move all the way from 9th to 5th place, trying to swap medals with Hannah Jenny.
And this will put her on the podium as well.
She is trying to beat Hannah Jenny by body weight. She will total the same as Hannah, but will win on body weight. They will both total 470.
This is a massive pull for Amanda Lacasse, 457 pounds.
Will she get on the podium, ladies and gentlemen?
Can she find lockout? It's going to be slow. Oh my goodness, just at the very, very end there. Round of applause there for Miss Amanda Lacasse. What a show that was.
But after that being a 17.5-kilo jump, she put up a great fight with that.
And that was to put her on the podium. That is a prime time attempt change, if I say so myself, folks. Oh man, we've got Miss Evie Yambez.
We have Christiane Hazard as your champion, but Evie Yambez and Heather Grinkley, we don't know what the medals are going to look like yet.
No
They're both
idea.
Neck and neck.
I'm watching Lifting Cast like a hawk here to see if Heather Grinkley will change this attempt per how this attempt moves with Miss, or actually, Evie Yambez slow to stand up, but she can find the lockout.
And that pushes her total to cross the 500-kilogram barrier, and this now forces Heather Grinkley's hand to load more than she might be comfortable with. She will have to, we're waiting on this attempt change, but she actually weighed heavier than Evie Yambez, so she will have to pull an additional 2.5 kilos if she wants to win that silver.
We're still watching lifting cast here, but it looks like the bar is loaded. I'm not sure if we're going to have an attempt change, and we are not, ladies and gentlemen. So Heather Grinkley is going to be taking this pull, will solidify herself in 3rd place. And what other result can you expect from your first ever prime time?
Above everything, too, she will be going 9 for 9 on the national stage. Walking away with a podium position. You cannot be mad about that.
Looked like just a little bit too much juice there. We saw that left knee come out from under the bar just a little bit. Bit too much on the day there for Heather Grinkley, but she still satisfies the 3rd spot. She will be your bronze medalist in the 70 kilo weight class, in the 65 kilo weight class, excuse me.
And just to recap a little bit with the women's division, we'll recap at the end of the session, but Christiane Hazard and Evie Yambez, followed by Heather Grinkley, are your podium for the 65 kilo division. Over in the 70, we have Madison Lewis, followed by Carmen Hu, and our veteran Jennifer Thompson rounding out that podium.
And as we see it now, folks, we are on to our last round of deadlifts, our last run of lifting for the USA Powerlifting Raw National Championships this year in Atlanta, Georgia for day 2. Constantine with an easy opener at 534 pounds. Good show to the judges. Good sportsmanship. Jacob Odom's up next, 589 pounds. All right, bars loaded now for Jacob. More of a narrow stance sumo puller Jacob is. And a very fast opener, 589 pounds, 3 white lights.
And I just want to take a quick second to mention Wesley Chang, who competed in the earlier session, is still managing to keep up with these 90 kilo competitors in prime time. He posted up a 767.5, which currently, as it stands, is 2nd place.
That's right. Well, we still have Jacob Odom and James Bryant later on in the flight to possibly surpass that 767.5 mark. Jacob Odom, even just on forecasted total, is only 2.5 kilos behind at the moment. So it's very possible that Wesley Chang could be knocked out of that spot, and it looks like he is at the moment with forecasted total. That did move him into 3rd. However, all it takes is one missed lift. We've said it before, and I'll say it again throughout the rest of the night, folks. All it takes is one missed lift, and the whole landscape of the competition changes. The big bencher, Antonino Fazio, 633 pounds.
Coming into the deadlifts, he's 6 for 6. Had a perfect squat session, a perfect bench session, and will now be opening up with 287.5. 633 pounds.
Antonino Fazio, sumo puller as well, 633 pounds. And for the folks at home that are watching this and are a little bit unsure as to why the lifters are spreading their feet so far out, or might possibly think that sumo deadlifting is somehow easier or kind of cheating the system, again, you could not be more wrong, ladies and gentlemen. You could not be more wrong, viewer. The sumo deadlift, in my opinion, is probably the most technical lift of all the 9 lifts, or of all of the 3 lifts that you'll be competing in. There's so much more that you have to pay attention to, and there's so much more that could go wrong with the sumo pull. Jaden Carlisle had a bit of a hiccup there. I think you saw what I saw. What was that?
Yeah, it looked like he had a little bit of a hitch, but he still got the lift 2-1. I believe our center referee kind of caught that either hitch or supporting on the thighs or up and down movement. Could have been one of the 3. But our 2 side referees gave it to him, and he walks away with a good lift.
Carrying on, Trevor Bowless. Mr. Bowless.
Known for the grind.
Mr. Grind and Shine over here. 290 kilos, 639 pounds. My gosh. You blink and you miss it. Well, I don't even think our camera's got a replay of that because it was so quick. My goodness. Trevor Bowless, easy opener at 290 kilos, and we did get a replay. Our cameras are faster than me. Wow. That's a solid lift there for Trevor.
Kyle
Coming
Dawson up next, 290 kilos as well.
Mr. Kyle Dawson of Team Outlier here, 639 pounds. Easy opener there. 639 pounds, 3 white lights. I don't know who moved it faster, Kyle or Trevor. I want to say Trevor moved it faster just because I almost missed it. But Kyle might give him a bit of a run for his money there.
It's almost like once those knees lock into position, the body just pops into place.
The body just knows what to do. Now here's who I'm super excited to watch. Mr. Joel Chong rocking the hamburger singlet. No fries, no drink, just a big old deadlift. 683 pounds for an opening attempt. This is not the Krusty Krab. This is Joel Chong with an easy opener, 3 white lights.
Forget the Krabby Patty formula. I want his deadlift.
I want his deadlift formula. That is absolutely right. I want his formula. Here's Michael Miller coming up next, 312.5 kilos, 688 pounds. Currently your front runner in the men's 82.5 kilo class. But Mr. Jaden Lowe is waiting just a few lifters out with a massive pull. Smooth deadlift there from Michael Miller. Now, Michael is coming from a federation in which they do utilize a different kind of bar for deadlifts. And so, obviously coming into Primetime, you're training with a different bar. You're training to the competition standard. But I wonder if that transition from that different kind of looser, more bendy bar is going to have any sort of effect with how Michael exemplifies his top-end strength throughout these deadlifts. Kevin Sanukin, 694 pounds. 2-time state champion out of Georgia.
Rocking that OG Inzer singlet.
And this is a hometown meet for our boy Kevin.
Had to fight a little bit for that lift, but referees say 2-1, good lift.
And I think I know what that head referee dinged him on. It looked like he dropped the bar just a little bit.
Yeah, it did look like those hands started to slip a little bit.
And folks, if you're watching on screen or if you're following along with Lifting Cast, unfortunately, since Kevin Cherry was not able to post a bench press, he is not going to come out for any of his deadlifts. So unfortunately, Kevin Cherry is done for this evening.
And our final opening deadlift, we have Mr. Jaden Lowe, who most recently competed at Collegiate Nationals back in April in Oklahoma City and is back on the Primetime stage, attempting a 325, a 716-pound deadlift opener.
Now, with this lift, and based on forecasteds here, he will be behind Michael Miller by about 10 kilos, or 20 kilos, excuse me. Not an impossible gap to overcome, but not an easy one either.
But with the speed on that bar, that ground is easy to cover. And Mr. Jaden Lowe gets 3 white lights, and we are back to our second round of deadlifts.
Coming up first, Konstantin Vasilopoulos.
Taking a 2.5 kilo jump. Wonder what the conversation might have been back with this coach.
We see a bit of a look there from Jacob Odom and coach, a bit of a wave to the camera, a bit of a high five. They're going to do a little bit of a dance, square up to the camera. Looks like we're waiting for Konstantin. Bar is loaded for him. And now Konstantin had a very, interesting look here. Konstantin only went up 2.5 kilos from his second to his third. So I wonder if there was something that happened there because, a little bit of context here for the folks at home, all of our lifters have 1 minute following their attempt to be able to put in their subsequent attempt, so what they would want to put in for their second or third attempt. If the lifter does not get to the table in time, then the table is forced to increase the minimum increment of 2.5 kilos. I wonder, and I'm hoping to all the deities that exist, that nothing happened to Constantine, because based off how fast that opener moved, it just wouldn't make sense for that 2.5 kilo jump to the second. And now he's timing out this opener, or this second attempt here, so
very interesting play here. It really might be a all or nothing lift. He did squat 315 and did bench 187.5. So we're just going to wait to see what the play is for the third attempt deadlift.
Bars loaded now for Jacob Odom. 285 kilos are loaded up for him, 628 pounds. Jacob, a great run through both squat and bench. Oh, and we see a very, very happy Jacob Odom coming off the platform there. That is going to be a good lift. And I think he's got a bit more in the tank there, probably another 10, 15 kilos.
James Bryant is up next, taking a bit of a gamble, going up 17.5 kilos from opening to second.
James Bryant here currently sitting in 4th place in the 90 kilo weight class. And I can always respect a lifter, not only in the full A7 kit, shout out A7, demanding greatness, but I can always respect a man on the platform with the J's on. I can always respect a man with culture, with class. Coming up next here, Jonathan Carlisle. Looks like he got bumped up in the order just a little bit, wasn't quite ready to go, but that bar is loaded and you do have your full minute to get that attempt off the ground. Here he is now, Jonathan Carlisle, 661 pounds.
And provisionally, this will move him into third place, bumping out Morgan Chan, who competed in the second session earlier before this.
Great pull there for Jonathan Carlisle. I think there may be a little bit of up and downward motion. Yep. Okay, so not necessarily up and downward motion, but the referees did kind of see what I saw there. A little bit of an incomplete lockout there. Yeah, so look, the shoulders were just a bit ahead of the bar there. So that is going to be a no lift there at lockout. Very close, very close. So something that's very easily recoverable for sure. Here's Antonino Fazio, 666 pounds, the number of the beast.
15 kilo jump and makes great work out of it. 3 white lights.
And folks, we do have some breaking news coming in from the warm-up room. Konstantin Vasilopoulos unfortunately strained his quad on squats, did elect to go through bench, and then did hit the minimum deadlift required in order to solidify the first place for the juniors in the junior 82.5 kilo class. But unfortunately, Mr. Konstantin will be pulling out of the rest of the competition. He'll be finishing out in 5th in the open, but will be your junior gold medalist in the 90 kilo class. Trevor Bolus, king of the grind, 677 pounds. And what a jump that is, 290 to 307.
And Trevor Bolus, a lifter out of Indiana, is one of those guys who's from the outside looking in, currently forecasted in 7th place, but has a huge opportunity here to see what the other guys are pulling and try to sneak into that 5th place medal position.
Here's Kyle Dawson, 310 kilos, 683 pounds. Even 20 kilo jump. This will move him into provisional 6th place in the 82.5 kilo class. Kyle Dawson out of Outlier. Fast.
Kyle having a perfect day
fast.
thus far, and it's not stopping here. He is 8 for 8 with one more pull left to go.
All right, folks, we've got Michael Miller, 325 kilos locked in for his 2nd attempt. But we do have, I don't know if you all saw the alert on the screen there, but Jaden Lowe just put an attempt in to put him into provisional 1st.
Up until this point, Michael Miller has led the competition, but not until Jaden Lowe. Jaden Lowe, in his 2nd, will look to pull ahead of Michael. Let's see if Michael can keep up with his 325 pull.
Bit of a slower lockout there, kind of that similar slowdown we saw once we got past the thighs there. And so it'll be interesting to see what he puts in for that 3rd in order to keep himself ahead of the game. I think it is going to be a battle between Jalen and Michael. And we see Cheeseburger Chong, Joel Cheeseburger Chong with the mango juice. Powered by mango juice and liquid chalk. I'm going to get a #1 combo with a side of Joel's 2nd attempt deadlift. 727 pounds. Down to the sesame seed bun. Mr. Chong, product of Georgia. This is his hometown meat. Beautiful pull for Joel Chong.
Kind of overextends a little bit to get that final lockout and convinces the judges 3 white lights.
What a pull there from Joel Chong. That's a good lift there. Moving right along to Mr. Kevin Sanukin. £727, and this is a nice deadlift to look at. 6 plates, a nice 2.5 on the end. It's a very satisfying pull. Kevin Sanukin. Slow off the floor. Can he get past his knees? This is where it gets tricky for the conventional pullers. And not able to get past his knees there. So that's going to be a no lift. And Kevin Sanukin having an interesting day. Possibly going 4 for 9 on the day and still coming home with your national championship in the 90 kilo class. You talk about supremacy.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a world record total attempt here for Mr. Jaden Lowe. 350 kilos loaded on the bar, 771.
Not only will this put him in provisional 1st, but this will be a world record total. So if he comes out for his 3rd, you know if he hits this, he's going to increase that gap even more. Here's Jaden Lowe, your collegiate national champion. Here's Jaden Lowe. And folks, as I say this, Michael Miller put in an attempt. Well, first of all, beautiful 2nd attempt there, Jaden Lowe. That's going to be a good lift. Oh, my goodness.
Gets a no lift.
3 red lights across the board.
I think he dropped the bar.
Yep, he definitely dropped the bar, and he looked at the head ref and was like, oh, no, I hope he didn't catch that. Oh, my goodness. Well,
the
this
door
definitely
just
changes the
swung
game.
wide open.
That changes the game now. Jaden Lowe, having missed that 350, is now currently sit in 2nd place. Michael Miller ahead by 22.5 kilos. So that means Jaden Lowe is going to have to pull insanely huge in order to get past that. And if you're watching the lifting cast, he did exactly that. Jaden Lowe just put in 357.5, 7.5 kilos up from that second attempt to put him into provisional first. Now, with that attempt put in, we're also going to be watching to see if Michael Miller changes his attempt, because all he needs to do is go to 337.5 to match and win on body weight.
We definitely know that Jaden Lowe is capable of doing more. So 357 is definitely in Jaden's wheelhouse. But now Jaden Lowe has the opportunity to push Michael Miller beyond what he's capable of doing. And if you ask me now, it looks like Jaden Lowe's lift was a little bit easier than Michael Miller. Michael Miller
definitely
had to work a little bit harder for his lift. So really, how far can Jaden Lowe push Michael past his breaking point, since it really is Jaden's to lose?
It really is, and with that deadlift advantage, you are going to be able to pull last. And not only that, but Jaden does have that lower lot number, and for the folks at home, a lot number is just a random number that lifters are assigned. But it does come into play here. If a lifter has a lower lot number and they take the same weight, the lifter with the lower lot number gets to pull second, so likely gets to change their attempt as well. So some other hidden advantages that we're starting to see come into play here on our last round of pulls.
Jacob Odom right here looking to extend his lead in second place. If unsuccessful with this lift, that opens up the door for James Bryant to sneak in and swap medals with him.
And again, our 90-kilo class, this is a battle of unpredictability here. Jacob's able to stand it up. Remains in second place. Very happy with that attempt. The smile that lights up the room. Jacob Odom
finishes out his day with a 792.5 kilogram deadlift. Total, I mean.
Coming up right behind, Jonathan Carlisle. He did miss that second attempt because he dropped the bar, but is going up 5 kilos for 672.41
And with this
pounds.
lift, it'll move him from 7th all the way to 5th. So he will be walking away with a medal if successful with this lift.
Good pull there. Oh, sorry, his second attempt was on some up and down motion, failure to lock out. What do the judges say for this one? It's a good lift. It's a good lift. Jonathan Carlisle is able to come back. Currently, he is in third place, but unfortunately, this 90-kilo class is stacked. And with this pull, James Bryant is looking to knock everyone out and put himself onto the podium, 672 pounds.
This is actually going to knock out Wesley Chang, who competed in the session prior.
That's right, Wesley Chang. If successful, of course. If not, Wesley Chang will still be your bronze medalist. But James Bryant stands it up, gets the down command. We're waiting for the call. The lift is good. Ladies and gentlemen, 2-1, James Bryant is your third place finisher in the 90-kilo class. And we are about halfway through our deadlifts here. Antonino Fazio, 315 kilos. We do have an update from Joel Chong. Joel Cheeseburger Chong is unfortunately going to scratch his last deadlift attempt, so he is done for the competition. He will stay in 7th place all time in the open realm in the 90-kilo class. Phenomenal run for Joel Chong, especially for his first run at Primetime. Big pull for Antonino. He finds lockout. I wonder if it was just locked out enough. The
that
shoulders
left
were a
hand
bit
begins
over.
slipping a little bit, and yeah, he gets 3 red lights, both for failure to maintain control of the deadlift at the top of the lift and for a soft lockout. Trevor Bowles up next, lifter out of the great state of Indiana.
Are you from Indiana? I couldn't tell.
Neighboring state from Illinois.
Trevor Bowles, 710 pounds. Let's call it 711. He might not be open, but this man is doing business. Trevor Bowles, 711 pounds.
Again, grinded out his squat, grinded out his bench. Can he do it here on the deadlift?
I'm going to take a double gulp of this deadlift. That's going to be a good lift. 3 white lights. 2 white lights.
And with that, Trevor Bowles has provisionally moved himself into 3rd place with a 787.5 kilogram deadlift. However, Kyle Dawson has the opportunity to swap medals with him and pull into 3rd place, knocking Trevor Bowles down to 4th.
Pull, not only is this a pull into 3rd, this is a pull from 7th into 3rd.
This is the pull for a medal. Right now, Kyle Dawson is sitting outside of the podium all the way down in 7th place, looking to move all the way to 3rd.
Looking to improve his placing from last year's Primetime from 1 place to 5. He's going to move from 8th place in last year's Primetime to 3rd in this year's Primetime. Let's take a look at the pull. Off the floor looks strong. Lockout looks stronger. Kyle Dawson.
And a convincing 325 there. Kyle Dawson is on the podium.
He is your bronze medalist for the men's 82
and
and a half
ladies
kilo.
And gentlemen, our last 2 deadlifts in the 82.5 kilogram weight class. Michael Miller is looking to extend his current total of 827.5 to 832.5, trying to force Jaden Lowe's hand to load maybe a little bit more than what he might be uncomfortable with, but Michael Miller feels that 330 is all he has for today.
That's
and
right.
will push Jaden Lowe to its absolute limit.
Michael Miller, 330 kilos, 727 pounds. With this pull, he's banking on Jaden Lowe to finish out. Gets to the knees, and right when we saw it in the past 3 attempts there, right when we get to the knees, Michael Miller just lost the juice. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the last time you have seen Michael Miller on the national stage, on the Primetime stage. His first ever run at Raw Nationals on the Primetime stage, coming in 2nd place, just barely edging out Jaden Lowe for that Primetime, for that top spot. We will see him next year and hopefully in years to come.
Kevin Sanukin up next, 330 kilos. Missed it on his 2nd, retaking that here for his 3rd attempt.
Kevin Sanukin, unfortunately not able to get it off the floor there. And that happens sometimes with these deadlifts here, especially off the floor with the conventional. You're going to, it might be stapled on the floor there.
And call it a gamble or not, but Jaden Lowe is loading way more than what he needs to beat Michael Miller. This will put Jaden's total at 840. Meanwhile, he only needs 830 to win. However, ladies and gentlemen, this is for a world record total in the 82.5 kilogram weight class. Jaden Lowe is looking to put his total at 840 kilograms.
Jaden Lowe, your bronze medalist last year, looking to be your gold medalist this year in the 82.5 kilo weight class of 572 dots. Jaden Lowe holds on to the bar on the way down, and you are looking at your new national champion, Jaden Lowe.
And with that pull, Jaden Lowe actually secured a 572 dots score. Talk about just world-class lifting.
And folks, that's going to wrap up our competition today. Let's take a look at the standings, the final results for today's competition in the 82.5 kilo class. Mr. Jaden Lowe is your national champion with an 840 kilo total. Michael Miller, 827.5 kilo total. Just below that, just missed that last deadlift. And then in third place, your bronze medalist, Trevor Bolus out of Indiana, 787.5 kilos, does beat out Kyle Dawson on body weight. Then we've got Jonathan Carlisle, Morgan Chan, and Antonino Fazio finishing out the lineup. In the men's 90 kilo class, Kevin Sanukin, only going 4 for 9 on the day, still coming away your national champion, 810 kilos for his total. Jacob Odom coming in second, 792.5 kilos. And James Bryant, Wesley Chang from the daytime session, just missing that podium spot. And then Konstantin Vasilopoulos in the 5th place spot. Unfortunately, bit of an injury on that squat, but was able to finish out in the top 5 spot. We've got our 65 kilo ladies. The final results, we've got Miss Christiane Hazard as your national champion, 525 kilos. Evie Yambez, Masters national champion, is your silver medalist in the Open Championship in the 65 kilo weight class with an even 500 kilo total. Heather Grinkley, what a show Heather Grinkley put on, just missing that last deadlift, putting up a fight all the way until the very end. And then we got Chelsea Ith, Iris Tyberg from the daytime session finishing out that lineup. And then coming up at our last weight class of the day, our women's 70 kilo weight class, Madison Lewis is your national champion, 505 kilos. And then we've got Carmen Hu finishing out 495 kilos. Jennifer Thompson, perennial champion, finishing in 3rd place, 482.5 kilos. Stephanie Scoville from the daytime session coming in 4th at 480 kilos. And Hannah Jenny rounding out the lineup at 470 kilos,
What a phenomenal session of lifting we just witnessed here in Primetime. Again, some of the strongest men and women in the 82.5, 90 kilo for the men, and 65 and 70 kilo for the women. We saw truly battles coming down to the last deadlift, right? We saw shakeups of these people pulling for the win. We saw missed attempts from earlier in the bench press and squat, seeing them kind of bite them from behind, right? Really just those missed attempts, those critical lifts that needed to be hit that truly shook up the entire standings.
That's right. And before we finish up with our awards, we're going to take you to our view of the warm-up room. Get an interview with one of our national champions.
Aiden, well, first of all, congratulations. That was amazing. Well, run us through what was going through your mind on that final pull.
I mean, he's just dropped the bar gently. That's all. Because I mean, it didn't follow the game plan today because we wanted to pull more, of course. But I just thank God I was able to drop it down properly and get out 3 white lights.
Okay. Well, how was your prep leading up to today?
It was pretty iffy. I mean, I just got out of college, so just training wasn't working in my favor because I have to drive far to train. So with that being said, I just thank God for giving me the opportunity to be able to prep and be healthy because training 9 weeks out from another meet and trying to put up at least the same total or something better is really hard to do.
Oh yeah, you're basically bouncing back from meet back to back to back. And you put like a crazy show last time, and honestly, you're looking good. Flex for the camera. Come on. All right, then what can we see from you in the coming months or years? What are you planning on?
Oh, it's going to be something epic. The more time I have to recover, the more time I have to train, the better the preparation will be for the next meet I'll be doing. So hopefully I can just continue to stay in this weight class. Something that's in the lookings is a close to a 900 kg total in this weight class. That's what I want to try to put up next meet.
Close to 9 or 9?
Either one. I mean, you can get what you can get.
I think you can do it, man. Another question for you. Have you ever been to Korea?
No, sir.
Would you like to?
I would love to go.
Well, you do know. You're definitely getting an invite to the IDFPA Worlds in December in Seoul, South Korea, December 11th through 14th. And we would love to have you there. What do you think?
I think it'll be a great sight. I mean, I've never been nowhere near out of the country, so it'll be something good because I'm still young, man. I'm young, but I'm old too. But being 20 years old, taking the world total record, and it just like Korea sounds crazy, man.
Do you like Korean barbecue?
I'm a big bag, man. I'm a big bag. I eat anything in sight.
I'd love to show you around, man. Anything else you want to say?
I just want to thank thank my handler, Jim Battenfield. I want to thank my supporting system, my girlfriend. I also want to thank my family, putting a lot of faith in me and just support me. They're not here today, but, all eyes on me when they watching.
You make it very exciting, man, and you're extremely jacked as well.
I try.
All right, man, we'd love to see it, and I cannot wait to see you again on the platform, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You have a good one.
And folks, that is going to be the end of our coverage. We're going to be live streaming awards throughout the rest of tonight's stream, but that is going to be it for our coverage of the 2025 USA Powerlifting Raw National Championships Primetime Day 2.
We thank you all for watching, and we will tune in for the award ceremony, which you will see on screen here.
That's right, and my name is Nick Stevens.
And I'm Kevin Serrano.
Are you? My name is Nick Stevens. This is Kevin Serrano. It's been an honor to call tonight for you, and we will see you tomorrow night for Primetime Day 3. Tune in.
This is Lauren. Right, some of these lifters might have lifted already. In fourth place, Jennifer Moore. In third place, Judith Arias. In second place, Megan Piper. And in first place, Madison Lewis. You're Lauren? All right, there's Lauren from fifth place. These are your top 5 women's Raw Junior 70 kilo. Give them all a round of applause. The majority actually lifted earlier today, so thank you for coming back. All right, thank you, ladies. We're going to move on to the Women's Masters 1, 65 kilo weight class. Masters 1 is the age bracket of 40 to 49 years old. In fifth place is Catherine McNamee. The coach is coming. All right. In fourth place is Melissa Anguila. Melissa is fourth place. In third place, Lacey Mullen. All right. In second place is Aaron Michael. How do you say? And in first place is Evie Yambes. From Castle Barbell out of Texas. All right, these are your top 5 Women's Raw Masters 1, 65 kilo weight class. One more big round of applause. And a coach, and a coach. Very cool. Thank you, ladies. All right, we're going to bring up the Women's Masters 2 70-kilo weight class. Masters 2 is 50s, 50 to 59. In fourth place is Wendy Clow. All right, Wendy's here. In third place, Sabra Edwards. In second place is Robin Shell.
Oh, yeah, Robin Shell.
And in first place is Jennifer Thompson, the birthday girl.
JT, gold medal.
Here's your Women's Raw Masters 2 70-kilo weight class. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. Check this out. Bringing up the men's junior 90-kilo weight class. In fourth place, Caden Fan. In third place, Gabriel Langenbucker. In second place, Jarrett Nowak. Jarrett. And in first place with the token deadlift, Konstantin Vasilopoulos.
Konstantin got an injury. He only gave a token opening deadlift, and he still won the gold medal. Give him a round of applause. All right, let's move on to the open category for the women and the men. First, we'll do the women, the 65-kilo weight class open category. In fifth place, Iris Tyberg. Where is Iris? She lifted this morning. I believe Iris is a Iris, how old are you? 15? 17? Getting fifth place. She's a 17-year-old, and she won fifth place in the open category. Give her a round of applause. 17 years old in the open category. In fourth place, Chelsea Eith. Chelsea? Oh, there she is. The bronze medal, receiving her pro card. Ladies and gentlemen, Heather Grinkley. And the silver medal, receiving her pro card, Evie Yambes. She's a Masters 1. Masters 1 getting the silver in the open. Not too shabby, Evie. Where do you work out? Is it Castle Barbell? Are there any Castle Barbell fans? All right, this young lady, ladies and gentlemen, broke her own world record in total. She gets a pro card. She's already a pro. It just extends it. And she gets $1,000 from USA Powerlifting. She's the winner. A big round of applause for Christiane Hazard. Give these 5 ladies a big round of applause. All right, let's move on to the women's open, raw open 70 kilo weight class. In 5th place, Hannah Jenny. Hannah Jenny. Out of New York City. Look at those bar marks on her back. Yeah, 5. In 4th place, she lifted this afternoon from Gleason Performance Training, Stephanie Scoville. Stephanie's a firefighter. She lifted this afternoon, and she got 4th place. Way to go, Steph. And this next lifter who got the bronze medal is, how old is she now? 51? She's, 52, 53, something like that. She's competing against women who are half her age, and she still got the bronze medal in the open category. A big round of applause with her pro card, Jennifer Thompson. Jen, can I embarrass you? How old are you today? 52 years young. Silver medal, Carmen Hugh. Carmen. Here she comes. Here she comes. Carmen also gets her pro card. And in 1st place, receiving her pro card and a check from USA Powerlifting for $1,000, Madison Lewis. Hold this 1 second. Oh, and a little bit of element, high electrolyte mix. Thank you, ladies. Let's move on to the boys. Men's Raw Open, 82.5 kilo weight class. In 5th place, Jonathan Johnny Carlisle. In 4th place, Trevor Bolus. The bronze medal, Kyle Dawson. Dawson. He also receives his pro card. The silver medal, receiving his pro card, Michael Miller. And ladies and gentlemen, first place, getting his pro card, getting a world record in total, I believe, and a check for $1,000 from USA Powerlifting, Jaden Lowe. Give these boys another round of applause. Thank you, fellas. Men's Raw Open. They all leave the element up there, don't they? Men's Raw Open, 90-kilo weight class. In 5th place, Konstantin Vasilopoulos. In 4th place, Wesley Cheng. Bronze medal, James Bryant. He receives his pro card. Silver medal, receiving his pro card, Jacob Odom. And in first place, receiving his pro card and a check for $1,000 from USA Powerlifting, Kevin Sanukan. Give these 5 fellas a round of applause. All right, we have a banner out in the hallway that you can take photos in front of, but you got to clear the room because Greg Page needs to set it up for tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Get access to world-class coaching in real time from anywhere. Whether in a small group setting or one-on-one, our coaches are in your ear during your training sessions, watching every rep and correcting every mistake.